me set this.
We got gray soldiers driving up and down the street, looking for a picnic today. Will it be you that gets pulled over for a broken down line? And then they blow out your brains, and then they come the coons. Oh, look at the coons. Wow, we're living down the system of white supremacy, white supremacy. Look at the coons. Look at the coons. Look at the coons. Always coming for you. Look at the coons. Look at the coons. We got more kids and symbols, but they turned into shoes. Dancing for the 450 brigade. Scared and grinning, thinking they winning, breaking out the banjo. Cause they ain't got no shame, they're heck of a coons. Ooh, look at the coons. Wow, because we're living under the system of white supremacy, of white supremacy. Look at the coons. Look at the coons. Look at the coons. Always coming for you. Look at the coons. Look at the coons. Because the cool train is coming. It's never late. You gotta watch your back. Watch the people you hang around. Cause they'll throw them on TV. Put a camera in their face. As long as they say that it's not about race. It's gonna be cool. Yo! Look at the coons. Always cool. Look at the coons.
Shalom. 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 Look at the coons. Y'all can see what we talking about today. You're right, we not him. But there was symbolism in there, right? If y'all was able to catch it, there were Greek fraternities dressed up like Egyptians, right? So they're trying to put the two ideologies together. We're gonna prove how that was a big time fail. But there's a reason why we played that video first, and we're gonna get right into it. So as y'all see by the title of the video, today's video is about the Boule, aka the Black Gatekeepers, the people who basically run everything for all the so-called Black people, Hispanic people, Native American people. Each of us have a Boule, so to speak, right? The Boule for the Hispanics, Native Americans is the Hispanic caucus, and the Boule for the Black people is the Boule, which make up the Black caucus, right? Or the people from the Black caucus are in the Boule, I should say. So the Water Malak Nehemiah for the donation, new soldier in the building. But yeah, man. So that's what we're gonna go over today, right? So I got a lecture. I'm not gonna talk too much for this video. It's gonna be a part. It's a two-part series that we're gonna be doing. The first video for today, this is basically gonna be a lecture. You're gonna hear a man named Steve Coakley speak, right? Steve Coakley is a professor. He's a teacher, Afrocentrist, obviously. You're going to tell by the way he talks. But he has basically done a lot of good research on the Boule, and I'm using his video so that I won't have to go and explain everything to you. So, yeah. So That's what we're gonna be talking about today. All right. So I'm gonna play this video. It's 2 hours long. We're not gonna watch all 2 hours of it. I have timestamps already cut out and everything. But and we're gonna put some things together with scriptures, obviously, because we're the Israelites and that's what we do. But I want you guys to be aware of a couple things that he's gonna do. He's gonna tell you about the Boule, how they started. We're gonna talk about that. He's gonna liken them to skull and bones. Next week we're gonna do all the comparisons with that. And he's gonna explain why. We're gonna talk about a couple secret societies next week, but this week, like I said, is basically gonna be about the information on how the Boule started, what they're about. And next week we're gonna go into what type of people are involved in it, what type of rituals they do, all that type of stuff, and why they're the people above us. Why they're keeping us down and not really helping our communities as they say that's what they're supposed to do. So without further ado, let's get into the lecture from Mr. Copley. Let me we'll start here.
Known as Sigma Pi 5.
Yeah. All right.
Brother Marcus. Brother Omar. Brother Omar. I need something greatly limiting.
Hey, take your notes on this. This is going to be a lot of good information. He's going to tie some things together, and there's going to be things obviously that he can't tie together because of his Afrocentric thought that we are going to be able to tie together because the Most High shows all things unto his prophets, right? His servants, the prophets. So let's get right into it. Take your notes. Listen to what the brother's going to say. I'm going to skip through, stop a couple of parts, explain some things, bring out some scriptures, but for the most part, he's going to be doing the talking. So take your notes off what he says.
I guess it's acting like we just got here together. Many people will see the tape and the videotape, wonder why everybody was so lightly greeting each other. It's because we have been talking for a while. And we have now stepped forward to have a discussion about the black male secret society known as Sigma Pi 5, acronym the Boule, B-O-U-L-E. We will do our best to show you the information related to the Boule. That's what this lecture is about. I could give the entire lecture and quote every inch of the documentation without looking at it. I know them that well. But this is my responsibility, my night, to show you the information so that you can look at it with me and double affirm the fact that much of our black press, as much as we like it, has not been honest in talking about this group of black men who they respected very highly and never speak negatively against it. We also know that we've had many black people who've been a member of it and have never, ever broken the code or the creed and spoken to one who was a non-member. So they pledge and swear that their goal is to represent you. You won't have a hard time believing it when they don't even seek to let you know that they who help you are. And so, in July 17th, 1990, July 18th, 1990, the Los Angeles Times did a front page story on the left column about elite fraternity of black men. Excuse me, brother. I saw that one get away. I'm just shaming myself. I stand back here. This elite fraternity of black men were described in the article as being influential, as being somewhat like Skull and Bones at Yale. And as it said these things, I was a little in awe, as the others, brothers in African Minds United and the Coalition Against Black Exploitation, as we all were intrigued by the fact that this group of men could have been in existence and we not know about them. And even other brothers and sisters. I remember talking to a brother who had been National Executive Secretary of Sigma, Phi Beta Sigma, been in fraternity land 37 years, had heard nothing of the Boule ever. though its founder had been a member. And so, as we began to talk about it with other people around the country, we began to realize that people didn't know about it. How you doing, Bro Warren? And not knowing that people didn't know about it, we just assumed that it was incidental, that everybody must know something about it, and that it was not mysterious or connected to all of those other things we had previously been talking about, like Cecil Rhodes and Baron de Rothschild and all the halls of haters, the ADL and the Diamond Jewish Connection. We've been talking about the Trilateral Commission.
Before we continue, can everybody hear what the brother's saying? Like, does the video sound clear online? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear the video, okay? Because I know it's old. It's from the 90s. The dude who recorded it sucked at what he was doing. So, all right, come on. Bet. Yeah, there you go. Put a 7 in the chat. That's even better. All right, bet it. Let's go.
Who is responsible for this economic summit that you'll be seeing on TV the next 3-4 days? You need to know that. Anybody? Carl Rowan came on the radio right here in LA. And my friends jumped him because we jumping them in every city. And when they jumped him, he said the Trilateral Commission ain't done nothing. But the Trilateral Commission went to the president and had him set up the annual economic summit starting in '76, France. So when you listen to how your destiny of your country, they say, rides on that meeting, you wonder how Rowan could make such an allegation, but knowing as a Boule in Washington, D.C. Epsilon chapter, his goal is to never speak of the high, white, and mighty, whom the Boule, all 3,300, are sworn to protect.
All right, so does everybody understand what the brother's saying right now? And before we continue, can y'all please like the video so that we can get these notifications out to Israel, please? Like the video for a brother. We don't get paid in money, we get paid in likes. Hold on a second. Let me share this video real quick. While y'all like the video, let me share this jump.
Once again,
Matyum.
68 people in here, 13 likes.
That ain't good.
You know what I mean? Right, Joey, man. 69 watches only. Oh, you said 34 likes. Maybe I need to refresh then. Right? Yeah, we got 47 likes, 66 people watching. Right? So give me them 19 more. If my math is correct.
Let's go. Hit the like button.
Yes, these brothers that we are pushing up against the wall have taken a sworn oath that they will never expose the whites that they know actually run the world. They, in ambition and in deference to liberation and respect of the race, have agreed to maintain the status quo of white supremacy, which has two levels of white supremacy: a local, limited, parochial side, the Ku Klux Klan, the Reardons, the Guinea Hans, the local clans, but has a powerful, more mighty upper crust, which probably would include Occidental Petroleum and Arco and Exxon and Mobil Oil and the Rockefeller Foundation and other influential, wealthy families and institutions. So what we're talking about is, why haven't you heard of those people who are in the secret society? It's because the people who you look to, who you would most suspect would tell you, have sworn that they never will. And because of that, that leaves the sub-leadership, the other group of people that you like a lot, that leaves them to tell you, the heads of the various organizations as you know them. But if you listen to them, they have never said of these black men, for that they did not know. Which means that Malcolm, we know, knew of these men. We know Marcus Garvey knew of these men because their crowning, most outstanding achievement was the physical elimination and castigation of Marcus Garvey and the insistence and the climate setting that brought about the death of Malcolm X. For both of those men, international in perspective and insight were a threat to the very rights that they're sworn to protect. You don't get killed for any other reason than jeopardizing the whites of the whites that run the world. Martin King, who was a Boule, met the bullet, not for the civil rights thing, but for the international war thing that got two Kennedy boys killed also.
All right. That's the first part we're going to talk about. So, as I've stated in the past, you've all heard it before. I've made it known that Martin Luther King Jr., the king of the civil rights movement, was indeed a member of the Boule and a member of Alpha Psi, Alpha Pi Psi, Alpha Psi Phi, whatever it's called, right? The black and yellow. Yeah, there you go. Alpha. Thank you. The water. As you can see, I don't know squat about this Greek crap. I never was into it. I don't like it. Only thing I know about the stuff that he's gonna go into is because, as you know, if you watched the little interview I did with the brothers on Thursday Night Thunder, I came into the truth looking like looking through masonry and stuff, right? My great grandfather was a mason. I wanted to get into that because I heard that they knew the truth, right? And I started meeting masons, and they started telling me you don't want to do it. I'm like, why? Because they're like, because it's things that you're not really gonna want to get into and all this other stuff. But they would never tell me what. Eventually, you find out it's the rituals and stuff, right? All the satanic crap that they don't want you to know that they do. Because on the outside looking in, when you type in masonry and everything, they want you to think that it has something to do with the Most High. You got to be in a religion. You got to be about man and wanting world peace and all this crap. It really is completely different. Those are the things that they put on the outside for the people not in the organizations. But when you're in the organization, you get completely different information. And it's not even everybody in the organization. What the brothers are going to point out to you is you have to hit a level 3 as a Mason in order to even begin to get any of the secrets. Their levels go all the way up to 33 if you're a black man. And I think 33 and a third if you're a white man, right? So a Master Mason that's black would be a 33rd Mason, 33rd degree, and a Master Mason that's white would be a 33 and a third. You understand me? So, because they get a third more information than you get, obviously. So you got to understand this, that our people, these gatekeepers that they have, that they've risen up over our people, they're the gatekeepers because they feel like they have a certain level of esteem because their white man is allowing them to, gatekeep over us. He's giving them a certain amount of power and rights to do things that regular black people can't do, which is why they get the power that they get. They get to go through these organizations, they get high levels of prestige and esteem, and they get to live their life that way as long as they keep these secrets to themselves. And what the brother was bringing out to you, Malcolm X knew about these people, never told you who they were, right? And the moment he was, they had one of the people that was involved, kill him. Uh, Marcus Garvey knew who these people were, never told you about them because he knew that they were trying to stop his movement, and eventually they did. They even set up a chapter of Masonry and the Boule in Liberia where he was at, to stop his people from, furthering on with his movement. You know what I'm saying? It's the other reason they don't mention Ben Ami and the brothers who left America and went back to Africa and then to Israel, because they don't want people to know that that was actually the objective of Marcus Garvey. He had Israelite generals who he looked up to and got a lot of his information from. You can look all of this information up. It has their names, everything written out, and the religions that they come from, if you can find those articles. And it explains that, his objective was to go back to Africa, round up people in West Africa, and then eventually to build a community there or, whatever. But brothers took it a step further, Ben Ami's people, and they went back to the actual homeland, which was Israel. So what you're going to find out by the time we finish this video and by the time we finish the lesson for next week, everything that the Boule does, everything that these other secret societies that the white man has, i.e. the Skull and Bones, the Knights at the Round Table, that type of stuff, right? These people, their whole objective literally has been set up to stop us from finding out who we are, right? And it's going to become more clear. The brother in the video doesn't know it because he's coming from a standpoint of Afrocentric thought. He's thinking that we're Ethiopians or Egyptians who, well, He knows we're not Egyptians. He's thinking we're the Ethiopians that ran Egypt, right? And that's basically what he's trying to say we are, and that's where we come from, and that's the information that they stole. But I'm going to prove to you by the end of this video that the reason the Bible calls this spiritual Egypt Sodom and Gomorrah is because of the reasons we think so, right? We're the children of Israel who were the slaves to the Egyptians, right? We had all the knowledge and everything that allowed us to build their treasured cities, their pyramids. We taught them things just like we taught the slave master things here, right? And built a lot of things for them here, i.e., the refrigerator, the light bulb, uh, the banks, the the cords for the lights on the streets. You know what I'm saying? All type of stuff that we created for the white man. We didn't get the credit for it, but these are the type of things that we did because it was our power, our knowledge that allowed all these nations to reign and prosper, right? So he's gonna say some key things, and the brother he's gonna have the teachers with him in this video are gonna say some key things that let you understand they don't really know who they are, but they know the information about this group. And for the people that do know who they are, you're gonna be able to tie things he's saying together very easily that people in his audience can't tie together at this moment. So well, at the moment of this video. So let's continue. Judah, can you give me 2 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 15? Before you read it, we're going to play this little 2 minutes. All right, we'll start there.
And that. So our job is to come to you with the information so that you can make up your mind. There's several affirmations about this process that we must agree to. A Greek is a fraud. A Greek is a fraud. Now, there are a lot of people going to hear this all over the country, and they want to know, do you understand that a Greek is a fraud? So I want you to holler out if you think that a Greek is a fraud. A Greek is a fraud. Oh, let me try that one more time. You might not be ready because this is going to go to people all over the country. And they want to know, do you believe this? Because if you believe this, this comes to a certain conclusion that will produce other action, which you have affirmed. Is a Greek a fraud? Did the Greek steal from Kemet? Yes. Okay. If the Greeks stole from Kemet and a Greek is a fraud, what then is the fate of those who have perpetrated the Greek in spite of the fact? Somebody finally caught on. Everybody hollered fraud. Okay, that's the crime, right? Somebody else gave a sentence. The suggestion is clear that the ebony 100 most influential ought to be -9. It ought to be the top 91. Because the 9 Greeks ought to back out while there's still time. I'm making a suggestion to the Greek connection, even to those in the room. You might be just an alpha or a sigma, or a zeta, or an AKA. You might just be a little Greek. That's right. But you're a Greek nevertheless. And soon you're gonna see. Because when someone tell me they're gonna back up or move on the Boule.
I can't play that part. You about to cuss like a sailor. So what the brother's trying to say here in this part of the video, Akim and Akwat Yim, is that basically he's trying to let you know that these brothers and sisters who, claim to be the Boule, the gatekeepers, they're basically Uncle Tom's for the white man, in short, right? They're the brothers who liken the glory of the Grecians best of all. Go ahead and read that for me, Judah.
Connie 1 verse 14, correct?
I wanted
14 and 15.
I want 15 and 16.
15 and 16. All right. Con, this is 2 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 15. Not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
Mm-hmm.
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers, whose custom they followed so earnestly, and unto whom they desire to be like in all things.
You understand? So these brothers and sisters, you know, the archants and the, I forget what the dang female name was, the archer rossers or whatever, right? These male and females who are the gatekeepers, the coons and the head coons in charge for the white man, right? They're the ones who are keeping our people down. They create the legislation. They come up with all the policies. They're the ones who's constantly walking in and out of the White House to talk to Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? The ones that was doing it when Obama was in office. The ones that was doing it when Clinton was in office. Bush was in office. All of these brothers and sisters, they've been around since the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Since the time of Marcus Garvey. You feel? So these are things that we need to learn about. It's important that we learn about these people and the things that they do, because without knowing about them, you kind of lost to the actual agenda of the white man. You know what I'm saying? Knowing about the Boule and this information is going to tell you exactly what the white man knows and what he wants to do, what his objective is, right? And Steve Coakley still hasn't found out what his objective is because he doesn't know who he is as a person, right? But because we've unlocked, he's going to say something a bunch of times in this video that I want you to catch. He's going to talk about how we always need to, or how we, us as a people need to unlock or decodify the parables of the white man, right? Now, the Bible tells us that the Most High speaks to his servants, the prophets, in parables, right? Because there's things that's for us to understand and for other people it's not given, right? What we got to understand is that Esau kind of works the same way, and that the Most High made Esau work that way, at least as far as his secret societies are concerned. And that us Israelites, we have the ability through our knowledge of the Bible and our knowledge of who we are to unlock and decodify the secrets of the white man, because he got his parabolic knowledge from our Bible, right? He stole the light, which is what they're going to actually explain in this video when they get into talking about the Grecian Sphinx and the Statue of Liberty. It'll make sense in a little bit, but just keep that in mind. They stole the light. We have to return it. I want to skip to 14 minutes.
This is the founder of the Boule, Henry Minton. If this one's color, you'd see he's light, almost white. Because in the early aspects of the organization, there was a lot of that. Henry Minton is the founder and so-called pioneering spirit. Brother was kind, knowing I needed a point. Of the organization Sigma Pi Phi, the head man of the organization is called the Grand Sire Archon. ARCHON is what a member is called after they have been inducted. They're an Archon. He was the Grand Poobah from 1908 to 1909. Then became Grand Sire Archon Emeritus.
Grand Poobah, you know, that name sounds familiar to some of you guys, right? So the Grand Archon, that's basically what these brothers are called. That's what they call themselves. For those of you that speak Latin and Greek, Archon is a word for demon, right? As if the demon, as in the demon that doesn't like to be seen. Hence the reason why you don't know any of the neighbors or any of the neighbors. Hence why you don't know any of the names of the people who are the Boule, right? You don't know any of their identities, because you only get the identities of the Boule members when you become a Boule member. He's going to show you the piece of paper that has all the members' names on it and their addresses and stuff, but we're not going to be able to see it because of the quality of the video. But he got this information because he paid a man from the Boule who he exposed the secrets to in a prior lecture. It's like, and the man gave him the list with all that information on it. And he also gave them the book, the Boule book. So he did his research on it and came back and made his lecture based on that. So he's going to tell you about Henry Minton. I have an article that's going to tell you a little bit about Henry and the Boule, and then we're going to talk about Skull and Bones as well, because he's going to explain to you in a moment that that's where they actually got the whole idea of this from. The Boule, the whole movement of the Gatekeepers, is literally a movement that was started and mimics the highest order of Esau, which is the Skull and Bones order that regular people can get into, which you're chosen from the Skull and Bones order to be a member of the Knights at the Round Table, who are the 10 or the 9 white men who run the world, right? So let's continue.
The Grand Sire Archon is the head of the National Boule. The head of the local Boule is called Sire Archon. So the head of the LA chapter is Sire Archon. A member in any Boule is called just Archon. So as Archon is a member, Sire Archon is the local head, Grand Sire Archon is the only head, the titular head. The Grand Sire Archon and those
Shalom. Y'all like the video and y'all come in, man. We got 103 people in here and we don't got 80 likes yet. Y'all like the video when you come in, Baba Kasha, so Israel can see.
Other top positions of the Boule have absolute and supreme authority over every Boule chapter, which are called subordinate chapters. Every subordinate chapter of the Boule is compelled to respond to the wishes of the Grand Sire Archon and the Executive Committee. This is a discussion about what Minton was thinking about in 1904 when he wanted to set up the organization. This is from the History of Sigma Pi Phi. That's the history book of the organization. The History of Sigma Pi Phi. It's written by an alpha named Charles Wesley, who wrote the history book for 8 as well. Didn't he?
You see that? He said that the history book for the Boule was written by an alpha, right? A man from the same fraternity as W.E.B. Du Bois, or Du Bois, however you want to say his name. A man from the same fraternity as Martin Luther King, Coon, right? These are brothers, I believe Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson. One of them is a member of the Alphas. It's a lot of black men. Roland Martin is a member of the Alphas and also a Boule member. So all these brothers that you see on TV who always go to the aid of every time a situation happens to a black person in America, i.e. we get shot by the police or a Rodney King happens or something like that, right? These are always the men who you see there to talk about it because they're the gatekeepers who are supposed to calm our people down, right? And keep the secrets of the white man. Make sure that we don't revolt. This is what they're supposed to do. Hence why they gave us the gift of protest, right? Hence why they gave us the gift of being able to march, because this was the docile method that they gave us to keep us from fighting back, right? And it was given to us by an alpha who was also a member of the Boule, Martin Luther King. Let's continue.
Didn't he? And then the alpha's here? Yes, okay, he did write it, yes. In that, he said, in summary, Minton wanted to create an organization which would partake, in his own words, of, quote, the tenets of Skull and Bones at Yale. Now, in the July 18th article on Skull and Bones, on the Boule in the LA Times, and I'm going to show you the original article that we first found on the subject, and I want to show you what it says, because in the article, you get the impression. I just want to, when they say Skull and Bones at Yale, that's what they're talking about. That's the logo for Skull and Bones at Yale. Now, who would want to be patterned after that? Because that doesn't look positive to me. Now you're already a damn Greek. Now you ain't got some poison.
You understand? So the brother is trying to explain to you that Henry Minton, basically, and the 5 other brothers that he decided to start this fraternity with, they went ahead and started this literally off of the ideas of Skull and Bones, which is a fraternity for white men that still exists at the Yale University, right? It's also a fraternity for black men, if any of them prestigious enough to get there, which is why, which is what the Fresh Prince is about. We're gonna explain that a little bit later. I know a lot of brothers and sisters love that TV show, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but the fact of the matter is that was a story about the Boule, a Boule family who adopted one of the regular black kids, right, from West Philly, who's supposed to be one of the regular people, right, one of us, and he gets adopted and brought into that family, and you see a lot of the times that their lifestyles clash because this is how they want us to act, like Carlton's people, and the way we do act is like Will. So it was a clash a lot of the times. It'll explain that though. We'll get into all that later. But the reason why is specifically because of the way that the Boule runs, the way that they operate. It's to keep certain people like Will and to make the upper echelons of us, the ones that we want to strive to be like, like Will's family. So let's continue. Let's go to Judah. Can you give me Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 31?
I'm already there. I'm already there.
Like you was falling asleep. Am I boring you?
Nah, man, my allergies tearing me up, man.
Word.
Yeah, I already had that for you. This is Proverbs 3:31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
You see, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways, right? Let me read you these two articles before we continue, just so you get a little breakdown on the Boule. This says the Boule, this is from the Encyclopedia Britannica. The Boule, Greek Boule, is a deliberative council in ancient Greece, or was a deliberative council in ancient Greece. It probably derived from an adversary body of nobles, as reflected in our uh, Homeric poems. A boule existed in virtually every constitutional city-state and is recorded from the end of the 6th century BC at Corinth, Argos, Athens, Chios, and Cyrene, right? It appears during the transition to democracy when the aristocrat Gerousia was either modified, replaced, or opposed by a new council, the Boule, right? Now, if you do your research on Gerousia, you'll find out that him and there's another brother person, well, there's an Edomite named Lacreus or something like that. Uh, they're the ones who basically, well, Lacreus is the one who came over and took over and created the Council of Boule for them. And if I'm not mistaken, he also had, Black Greeks, aka slaves who were around in that area as well. Um, it doesn't really go all the way up back to 508 BC because I haven't been able to find any articles or documents from the Boule from that long. But everything I found stated they were just before the time of Alexander the Great. And we know that, you know, they did have a couple of Israelite slaves at that time, and they completely conquered, Israel once Alexander and his people came on the scene, the Macedonians. So let me also read you this one before we continue on the video about the skull and bones. This is important, something you guys should write down. Check this out. And there's a TV show that just came out on Netflix called The Order, right? Just started watching it recently. This TV show is based off of the skull and bones and the rituals that they do and the type of stuff that goes on in this fraternity. So if you watch this TV show that's based off that, it'll kind of give you some more insight on what's going on. It literally came out like 2 months ago or something like that, ironically. So it says Skull and Bones, a secret society of senior fourth year graduate students at Yale University. Where did Obama go to school? Do you know, Judah?
I believe he went to Harvard.
Okay, Harvard. So there's another society from Harvard that is likened to the Skull and Bones. I can't remember what it's called, but Obama is actually part of that society. That's how he got to become president. So they have other societies at other high-ranking schools. They have the Skull and Bones, obviously at Yale. They have what's that school that Carlton was trying to get into?
Princeton.
There you go. They got one at Princeton. And then they got one at Harvard, right? Harvard and Princeton are the two schools that that brothers could get into if they want to be a part of these high upper echelon movements that go higher than the Boule, or if they want to become big time members of the Boule, i.e. the Grand Archants or something like that. They would have to go to a school like Princeton or Harvard and be a fraternity member, and then be inducted into the Boule, and from there be inducted into one of those different societies, right? But if you're a white man at Yale University, your senior year, you get tapped on the shoulder and you get to become a Skull and Bones member. So it's going to tell you, yeah. All right, so male society members are called bonesmen, and many have ascended after graduation to positions of prominence in business and government. 3 of them, William Howard Taft, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush, became U.S. presidents. So it's obviously a fraternity or society in college that could get you, some pretty big prestige. Skull and Bones was formed in 1832 by William Huntington Russell and Alphonso Taft, ancestor to, William Taft. According to some accounts, the society was formed after a dispute over elections for Phi Beta Kappa, which is a smart person's fraternity, right? Other sources, I believe Carlton was a part of the Phi Beta Kappa of Princeton. if I'm not mistaken. So, because they had an episode on that. So, other sources conjecture that Russell modeled the society after European groups he encountered while studying in Germany. The society's original name was the Eulogian Club. It was incorporated in 1856 at the Russell Trust Association. The emblem of the society is what the hell? The emblem of the society is a skull and the crossbones with the number 322 beneath it. The number is generally taken to refer to the year 322 BC of the death of the Greek orator Demosthenes, right? Which was the turning point of the transformation of ancient Athens from democracy to plutocracy, right? Now, it's very important to understand that this skull and bones, right, fraternity or secret society that you have to be a member of to become one of the Knights of the Round Table, right, which are the 10 most powerful people or 10 most powerful families in the world. Well, it's not in it. So the 9 most powerful families in the world are the Knights of the Round Table. You have to become a skull and bone member first, and their whole society, their whole fraternity is based on the transfer of democracy to plutocracy. So, what is a plutocracy? Before we get into this video some more, right? Very important to understand this. What is a plutocracy? Here we go. Plutocracy, right? A government by the wealthy, right? A country or society governed by the wealthy, an elite or ruling class of people whose power derives from their wealth. Hence the reason why the most powerful families on the planet are the richest families on the planet, right? Because this skull and bones fraternity or this society that was created to, make that happen. This was the New World Order. It would no longer be an order of democracy where people get to choose. It would be a world order where the richest people in the world get to choose what goes on. And they would throw you a delusion of you being a democracy, right? So we know America is a corporation. If you've done your research on that, the corporation is run by the Knights of the Round Table, the 9 families. And these 9 families have led America to believe that they're a nation that's a democracy. So they let you vote every 4 years and make you think that you have a vote that counts. But in retrospect, it's the Boule members who are making you think this stuff. And white people actually really know that these Knights of the Round Table and these congressmen that they have, these skull and bones members and members of these other factions and secret societies throughout the United States that are just for white people, right? Because Israelites seem to think it's just masonry. If you say you're a Mason, they think you know everything and that you're this big time secret society member and that everybody's fighting for you at the top and all that type of crap. It ain't like that. Masons don't know crap. To be they're trying to become Masons to get into these higher upper echelon societies, which I'm just going to explain to you in a little bit. You have something to say?
Salakia. I went to college with homeless Masons.
There you go. The Knight Templars. That's another one.
I went to
Another
college.
society that you have to be a part of, and the Jesuits and the Rosicrucians. These are all societies that you have to be a part of that are separate from Skull and Bones that, still would make you a sect of the Skull and Bones that allow you to be eligible for the right to be a member of the Knights of the Round Table, right? This is only for white people, only for the richest Edomites, the most prestigious Edomites on the planet. We don't know who they are. Only names you know is the Rockefellers and Rothschild. But it's not the whole family of these people that's involved in this, right? Like we know Anderson Cooper, the dang anchor on CNN. He's the last remaining member of the Rockefeller family, if I'm not mistaken. He's the last full-blood descendant of the Rockefellers. He's not a member of this, right? The Rockefellers are no longer on the board because their family has diminished. They had too many girls, and they had girls that married into the other families. So people thinking the Rockefellers are still on this board, they're not. Their last member is Anderson Cooper. He's a faggot. They don't even like that type of stuff, right? So because you have to be a straight man in order to continue the legacy, right? Because if you don't have a family. That's why the Rockefellers fell off. I'm probably going over too much of y'all head. So, but it's a lot of stuff that this goes into. We're gonna get back into the video. I'm just trying to get you guys to understand completely. He's not a Vanderbilt. I think his dad probably is, but his mom is the last member of the Rockefeller family. So, and they go by their mom's ancestry. We're gonna talk about that in the video. That was part of the taking of the light, because we go by our father's ancestry, they go by their mother's ancestry. It'll make sense in a minute. How do I get back to this with John? Okay, here we go. All right. 31. 31.
Page 38 of the history book. In the building of the organizational plan. See, what was the niggas thinking about? That's what was the niggas thinking? Because you gonna sit up in 1904, just got your ass whipped in Reconstruction, just had Africa divided up.
Now, I skipped a little bit so that I won't waste time, but what he's talking about is his history book that he got from the Boule. It's telling you the history of them, what they came from, and how they decided to take a lot of their ideas from the Skull and Bones members.
Up before your very eyes, colonialized up the butt, just after the fake emancipation, civil war, slavery, some still in slavery. You can't pee in a white toilet, you can't eat in a white restaurant. This is fucking 54 years before Rosa Parks. You understand what period we in? We talking about you got to lean way over to go Greek. There ain't even no radio or TV yet, so somebody had to tell you about them. You couldn't even read about them. You couldn't see nothing about them and hear nothing about them.
Yeah, Becky, we know our stuff, man. We definitely know our stuff. How'd you see that?
There was no TV and no radio in 1904. So when you talking about you gonna set yourself up like tenants of Skull and Bones at Yale, you better believe somebody in around this Boule, and we checking on this history of Minton, may have been a Skull and Bones at Yale his damn self. Right. Passing for what? In the building of the organization plan, reliance was placed upon Greek history and traditions. And they're gonna tell you, ask them niggas in that. I say, now look.
You see that? So everything was based on Greek prominence and traditions. This is why your Greek fraternities base everything off Greek traditions and everything, right? They try to add a little bit of blackness to it. The brother's gonna explain that. When you ask a Greek if they, I'm gonna let him say it. He'll say it.
Hey, it's a fraternity and sorority thing. Hey, y'all really Greek or y'all like African on the fly?
Mm-hmm.
They say, no, brother, it's really African.
And that's why I showed you guys the video at the beginning, right? Because when you ask them, there's a video that we had recently where Joel was talking to a brother that from his old frat, right? And the brother's telling you, no, I didn't got nothing to do with the Greeks. We're a black fraternity. It's about blackness and all this other stuff, right? And then when Joel starts saying the credo, he don't even know the credo. The brother's going to explain that to you, because what they've started doing now is they don't just teach it to anybody. There's certain low-level fractions of each fraternity in every single state at different colleges and universities, and then in other different colleges and universities, the fraction of the fraternity is bigger, right? With it gets more information, more knowledge about the fraternity and the things that they do. So the brother that goes to the Georgia State frats, most of the Georgia State frats, I'll say, don't really know anything about the actual history of the frat parties or of the fraternities that they're in, right? All they know basically is what they want them to know. And if they want them to think that it's an African thing or that you're Greek and African, then that's how they're going to portray it to you. But like the chapters at Howard, the chapters at Clark University may know something. The chapters in Los Angeles may know something. The chapters at Yale and Howard, you know what I'm saying? Those chapters are going to know something. So Georgia State might not. Florida State might, but University of Florida might not. It's like that. You never know which fraction of which fraternity is going to have the information that they need to make you a Boule member, because not all of them are eligible for that. So.
Is that you, brother? Check. Okay, respect. Thank you, sister. And so, this is the first of the Greek thing. This is the granddaddy of the Greek thing. Here it is that we see that they placed how much on it? The organizational plan, reliance was placed on Greek history. So when you confront them, they're going to swear it ain't a Greek thing. And you're going to tell them, say, well, I seen your thing, and I know your thing is Greek from the jump. And no subordinate Boule, Archon, can ever deviate from the structure and the guidelines laid down by people in the organization higher than them.
You understand? So no matter, even if the brother did know, everything that was going on. He knows that he's not at liberty, even to another brother in the fraternity. He's not at liberty if he knows about the Boule and he's trying to get up in the rank, right? He could have been playing us the whole time. He could have known what was going on and decided not to tell us anything because he's not allowed to, because the people above him have told him not to do so in public, right? So it's also those type of things you have to worry about. Because what the brother's going to explain, every frat member who knows about the higher upper echelon members of frats that they could be a part of, they're not going to say anything regarding the true information of the fraternity that they're a part of, right? Because they know if they do and it's found out that they're no longer eligible to go higher in the ranks. They're no longer eligible to become one of the Boule members, the upper echelon. You understand?
Never does a private.
I'm going to skip ahead. Let's go to 36. What's good?
Hey, y'all, don't worry about her or Esau being in there. It's all right. We know that she showed herself. We know there's plenty of them that don't show themselves. As long as she's not disrupting and causing confusion, let her be, because this is not something that's simple to understand.
Yeah, let her listen.
This might be going over your head, so just worry about the brother teaching. Mark 4:16, remember that. Go ahead, Al.
Yeah, I mean, let Becky be in here. You know what I'm saying? She's a Steinberg. She's a fake Jew. They always got to be spying in on us to see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Or she might be married to one. Either way, Becky can stay. Let's go.
The culture of the Orient. Moreover, the Greeks were successful in their creation of free institutions. God damn it. Brother Ashwa Kwesi, were the Greeks successful in building Greek free institutions? In fact, in the story on colonialism is back and not a moment too soon, they brag that the Greeks were the first colonialists. The first colonialists. Moreover, the Greeks were successful in their creation of free institutions and of organized city-states. Those were colonial states. They organized colonies. They forced people to serve them. They turned it over to the Roman. Reference was made repeatedly by Dr. Jackson and his 5 associates. There were 6 members in the starting of the Boule. 6 members in the starting of. Isn't that strange? They took such a number. Couldn't have found us another one. It was in this. Dr. Jackson and his 5 associates to the heroic and early age of Greece. It was this period that the concept of the Boule was formed. This was the Council of Chiefs, the leading noblemen of the heads of families. The Boule of Homeric times was a body of princes who were advisory to the king. So when we asked them,
you see that? Advisory to the king. A body of princes who were advisory to the king, right? They had that during the time when we were around the Maccabees, right? Give me First Maccabees chapter 1 and 12. Give me that real quick. Because we can prove this, right? The Bible's the most important book on the planet because every aspect of history, even the parts that they don't put in the story of history, right? It still speaks about, whether vaguely or completely, but it still talks about them. And there's a mention in the Maccabees where the Boule started in Greece, right? Rome, whatever you want to call it. It's the same place, same thing, same rulers. So these people were back then during that time period. That's when they started. The white man had a group of us when we were in captivity who was the Boule, because the Boule started before they put us in captivity. What they did was, once we became captives to them and they moved us to the different places, as you saw on the list, Lagos, Corinth, Macedonia, Thessalonia, right? All these different places, Galatia. So they make Boule members, and they make them the counselors, the runners, the advisors of this certain city or this certain state, and they're the ones who run the black people or the Israelites in the area. That's how it is, right? I live in Georgia. My Boule member is John Lewis. You feel what I'm saying? That's who runs the people in my district, in my area, John Lewis. And he's been on the board for a very long time. Can't even talk barely, but he's still a member on the board. So he gets to become, he gets to stay a congressman in the Senate, right? Angela Stanton is running against him right now as a Republican, and she's still not going to win as a black Republican in Georgia, because she's not a member of the Boule. She didn't go to college. She got pardoned by Donald Trump. So she's not going to win as a black Republican in Georgia because she's not a member of the Boule. She didn't go to college. She got pardoned by Donald Trump. right? That's the only reason she's running. But she's not going to win because the Boule is what runs everything. Your vote doesn't really count. Let's continue.
Who's the king? They said, well, where'd you get that from? In Saron's time, the Athenian Boule was a senate of elected men who numbered 400. 100 from each of the 4 Ionic tribes.
Mm-hmm.
They prepared bills for the action of the popular ecclesia.
Right. If you go into chapter 12, I believe, of First Maccabees, I'm going to read that First Maccabees right quick from you.
You want First Maccabees 1 and 12, right?
There you go.
Come on.
What I want, First Maccabees 1 and 12, it's 1 and 12 and 1 or 11. The one where it talk about the people who wanted to,
Yeah, it got
all right, yeah, go ahead.
First Maccabees 1 and 11. In those days, when they're out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Mm-hmm. See, so we've had sorrow and we strayed away from the white men when we weren't like the Grecians. Let's go back to being Greeks, right? This is why they was cool being called Greeks. The same people are cool being called Greeks now. They joined Greek fraternities, right? They put Greek costumes in their bedroom. That's what the brother's gonna talk about. Each Boule member has a Greek costume that he has to wear to each and every one of their Greek, to their Boule meetings. They have a pen with a Grecian Sphinx on it that they wear with the Grecian Sphinx in the urn. You've seen your brothers with it on TV before, right? Roland Martin wears his every time he gets on television. You find another brother with that gold pen on the left side of his jacket, he's a Boule member because they can only put it on the left side right here. That's where it goes. It's a distinctive place for it. It's a gold pen. Can't miss it. So, and only niggas wear it. So, I mean, anytime you see this, oh, that's a Boule member. That's a brother from the Boule. Oh, okay, he's one of the gatekeepers. That's what you need to think about. So, let's get back to the video.
Their number was later increased to 500, chosen by lot, and again was reduced to 300. The name has persisted in Christian history.
I wanted him to say that. So, the 300, right? We know about the what are they called? Lacedaemonians? Yeah, that's what they're called. The Lacedaemonians, right? Our members of the Boule were Spartans who were Lacedaemonians, right? It tells you that they had a letter being written to them by Onias in the book of Maccabees, and we found out that they were also our brothers, kin to, Abraham. So these Lacedaemonians were the Spartans, the warriors, they were the gladiators, and many of them were also the Boule members, right? That were set up to control our people. You understand me? Hence why when you go back and look up the Boule, it tells you when you click on that name I told you about, Jerosia, right? When you go and look up who Jerosia was and about the Boule during his time, it lets you know that they were members of Sparta, right? And we know that the Spartans were the Lacedaemonians. They were our people. So they go hand in hand. The Boule members back then were also the Boule members now. Ain't no new thing under the sun. They've been using our people to control our people this entire time. Let's continue.
In modern times, the lower house of the Parliament of Greece, a body of 250, was known as the Boule. In modern times, the what house? Lower house. Lower. What does that mean by definition? There's somebody that there's somebody on the second floor, these niggas on the first floor.
So the person on the second floor is the white man, right? The cracker, the oppressor, the one who cracks the whip, right? Crackers. And the person who is on the bottom floor is the gatekeepers who controls the people, right? The slave pusher, the slave preacher, right? Jake, the coon, Sambo. You feel me? That's how this works. It's levels to this thing.
That means that when we talk about that they take the position of being a Grecian Sphinx, we understand they're blocking for another person who got the ball.
Right? They called themselves a Grecian Sphinx. We're going to get into it, but I'll tell you a little bit about that symbol right now, right? The Grecian Sphinx is a four-legged white man with the body of, or woman, whatever, with the body of a lion, right? With wings like an eagle and the head of a person. So what they symbolize is, he's going to explain a little bit of it, not completely, but he's going to explain a little bit of it, where it talks about how the four legs is supposed to talk about how the evolution of man, right? We know evolution comes from Esau because he was pushed to the caves in the book of Job, chapter 30, right? Hence why they're called the Caucasians. I'm about to tie everything together for you right quick. So the Sphinx, which is the symbol of Greek, right? Which is where they get their eagle from, their symbolization of the eagle, because the eagle is supposed to be their complete transcended transformation, right? They go from the man to on all fours, They take the light from the lion, which is the Israelites, so they gain the body of the lion with the strength of the man and the intelligence of man still. That's why the white man's head is still there, and they get to soar over you like the eagle, right? They tell you that the Grecian Sphinx symbiology is basically good over evil, right? So, or evil over good, one or the other. So it's like the old them has left and the new them is there. That's basically what it is, right? The Renaissance, the rebirth of the white man. So they went from being docile people in the caves that grunt to being the one who runs the earth, the wicked, right? So that's the symbology of the Sphinx, the Grecian Sphinx in a nutshell. He's going to talk about it a little more, but he's not going to make it that plain. So let me see. I'm going to skip 2:44 seconds. Yeah, 44 minutes.
It's developed that it was wealthy Jewish people and college-educated blacks. There were no wealthy blacks. The first black millionaire was from Memphis, Tennessee, and he got it in 1900. Robert Church. That was the first black millionaire. As you can see now, here's Los Angeles. Los Angeles.
Now, what he's reading to you is a Boule list. He's telling you that the first black millionaire, right, was from Los Angeles, right? Los Angeles. He's going to talk about that. The city of the Los Angels. Who were the angels? The angelic sons of Isaac. What did they lose? Their light. Los Angeles, the place of Hollywood, where they get to tell you and portray everything that's going on, right? The city of the Los Angels. Who? Us. That's what it's gonna. He's gonna break it down a little bit.
This is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14th chapter. LA is the 14th chapter. What do you call that in Greek? That's Roman. God. What do you call it? What? They're getting smarter. So that's what the LA chapter was. And as you can see, some of the later chapters coming in, Albany, Georgia, Tyler, Texas, now they start getting into even the smaller towns. Northern Illinois, Columbus, Georgia, San Jose, California. And see, let's look at some other California chapters. So you know people in those cities. There's Pasadena, Sacramento. Let's see here, San Francisco.
Hold on, I gotta answer Becky's question so y'all don't do it. Leah Steinberg's son, right? We lost so badly because it's what the Most High wanted to happen. Literally, we didn't follow His law, so He allowed the dung of the earth to be over us. You know what I'm saying? That's what our scriptures say. He let the tail become the head and made the head the tail. You guys were the tail, right? The dung of the earth, right? And we're the head, but now we're the tail. So what He's doing is He only wants us that wake up and come back to our culture to be risen from the dunghill and set amongst princes. And these will be the princes that run over your people when the time comes. Let's continue.
There's Monrovia, Liberia, because that's where they went to stop Marcus Garvey. You had that Boule in Monrovia. You're going to stop Marcus Garvey over there. Upton, Harvard, Lansing, Durham, Toledo, San Diego, Seattle nearby, Oakland, Berkeley, and that's in Los Angeles.
The name of the video we're watching is Steve Coakley Exposed the Black Boule KIK. It's on the KIK channel. That brother's the one who recorded the video, if I'm not mistaken. It's from like 98 or something, so it's really old.
So you can get an idea of what they have. They're now, I think at this time there were about 90 chapters. They're now into the 100th chapter. Their rostrum, we have the list of all of their names. This is what their rostrum says on the inside. This directory has been prepared to serve as an important and useful source of information and data for subordinate boules and for individual archons, and to facilitate the communication processes within the fraternity. It is for the exclusive use of the members of Sigma Pi Phi fraternity, and it is not for public scrutiny. It is not to be duplicated whole or in part for distribution outside the fraternity. Sigma Pi Phi ended 1990 with a total of 3,245 members and 94 subordinate boules. It talks about recent chapters bringing in. So remember, you're hearing not because they wanted to. Somebody says, well, how can they be so bad? They've never been secret. When you can look at their list of names, they tell you. They give every member a list of names. And they tell that member, you better not tell nobody.
And that's the reason why if you go look up this list of names, you will not find it anywhere on the internet. I've tried for 3 months and it's not there. That's why it took so long to give you guys this video. You can't find it. You can't find the blue book that he's reading from. You can't find none of the articles that he's reading from because he got them from members that are specifically inside of this Boule fraternity. If you're not in the Boule fraternity, you're not going to get none of their information.
This is their directory. This is the names of every Boule member in the country. And if you look at the list, you need to see how thorough this is. This is why they're scared. Every Boule list has their home address on it.
Right. So I'm gonna stop there. Before we continue, let's talk about some home that we saw. No, I'm not gonna block Becky, bro. Becky need to learn this. He said Caucasians. Caucasians. All right, so look. I want to show you this Fresh Prince article, so we could tie this together, right? All right, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's an American sitcom television series created by Andy and Susan Borowitz, right? The family members of Miss Leah Steinberg, or whatever her name is, right? The little Becky Karen in the comment section. That originally aired on MSNBC from September 10th, 1990 to 96. The series stars Will Smith as a fictional version of himself, a street-smart teenager from West Philadelphia who is sent to move in with his wealthy uncle and his aunt in the Bel Air mansion after getting into a fight in his hometown. However, his lifestyle often clashes with the lifestyle of his upper-class relatives. It ran for 148 episodes over 6 seasons. Now, the brother mentioned Black-Jewish relations, right? Which is what led me to find out about the Israelites, because I told you how my white African-American studies teacher mentioned Black-Jewish relations. I never heard of such a thing in my life. And when I looked it up, I found out we were the Jews, which is why there's such thing as Black-Jewish relations, right? So, let me read this part. So it says, no, that ain't what I want. I want after this. Here we go. Syndication. The series was produced by NBC Productions in association with Stuffed Dog Company and Quincy Jones Entertainment, later known as Quincy Jones and David Salzman Entertainment, right? Who's David Salzman? He's another fake Jew, right? He's another imposter. So Quincy Jones, David Salzman create this sitcom that's supposed to be about the Boule. For those of you that don't know, Quincy Jones is a member of the Boule. So here we go. Jewish Boule in master relations, right? Jewish and Black relations, right? Boule in skull and bones relations. That's what this is right here. So this is what this show was based off of. It was a show to give you an insight on how, we're supposed to want to be like Uncle Phil and his type of family, but instead we're like Will. And if Will could get around people like Uncle Phil and his type of family, he might become more sophisticated about himself, which is technically what you saw happen, right? Whenever Will got around Carlton, he would still be Will, but he got a little bit smarter. He started doing educational stuff, started joining frats and stuff like that, right? Was doing his homework and stuff like that. When that stuff he wouldn't do when he was in West Philadelphia, he'd be fighting, playing basketball. That's literally what they showed you. So they're showing you this stuff. Basically, they gave you this sitcom as a way to make you subconsciously want to be like the people in the Boule without knowing who the people of the Boule were, right? Watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you had an opportunity to decide whether you want to be Will or you want to be Will's family. And the only Will in the TV show was Will. Everybody else was a dang Boule member. Everybody else was a snot-nosed, keep my chin high and my nose raised type of Black person, right? The upper echelons. That's what this was. That's what this sitcom was supposed to portray. So Leah is not a female. It's Esau under an alias taking out. Well, he could do that. He could take the temperature. Soon he gonna find out it's too hot for him to handle.
Every Boule member
Oh, let's fast forward past that. Let's get to the rituals, right? The part that most of you would be interested in anyway.
Hey, Salaki, your screen is still on Wikipedia.
Oh, bet. The water for that. Because I was sure about to play this junk and how y'all watching dang Wikipedia. All right. So, yeah, it is called progress. We're going to progress so much that y'all ain't even around no more. We're going to progress all the way to the point where y'all is in chains, Leah. And your name ain't going to be Leah either. We're going to change it to something else. That's too close to our foremothers' name.
That's right.
You are not going to get that name. We're going to change your name to Dungface.
Hey, but for real, though, y'all and listen to the lesson because this lesson is deep. So y'all don't have to keep talking to her in the comments.
Yeah, because y'all going to miss the things that you need to be catching.
Exactly.
So I'm telling you, if you miss what I'm saying, it's going to go over your head. And I'm not doing this lesson again because it took too long to get this information. Israel, like the video when you come in the building, Baba Kushai. All right, Stephen Coakley. I got so many videos of it.
The Boule ceremony, initiation. One thing that is not in the history book is the ritual. I need to tell you this. Now, one day I'm going to come back and say, I got it.
You heard that, right? You said one thing that's not in there is the ritual, right? If I'm not mistaken, I've never been in a fraternity, but people that I spoke to that are in fraternities, they say the same thing. There's no ritual that's in the fraternity that's in the history book of their fraternity. So this is the reason why a lot of the people in these fraternities specifically that go to certain specific colleges that don't get the truth about the fraternities don't know the real credo. They don't know the truth about the fraternities. They don't know what the fraternity is really about because it's not meant for them to know what the fraternity is really about. So that's how they do it. They even keep secrets from their own people. In order to get the information and to be part of a chapter that knows everything, you have to be recommended by somebody that's in your chapter that knows everything, right? And if you're not recommended, you're not going to be one of the ones that knows. It's that simple. So a lot of these people that you know that are AKAs and they're alphas and all this type of stuff, omegas, they don't know crap about none of this stuff. Some of them do, and those are the ones that are trying to progress themselves into one of these positions as a Boule member, right? But the ones that don't, they're just Greeks, Greek freaks.
So I got it. We're trying now to get the ritual process. You can see here there's a clue to something about the ritual here. Right at the hump. Oh, we're going to check it. Getting the goat, huh? Getting the hump. Look at this. Archon Wesley was in charge of the initiation, of whom it was said, quote, he always succeeds in impressing upon...
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Stephen is dead, right? That's why this is the only video we have about this. He never got to come back and give us the ritual book because he got killed. Just like the last brother that spoke about this, who was an Israelite, who was waking up his whole church, Stephen Darby, also got killed after his video about the exposing the Masons he exposed the Masons and the Boule in the same video. But once he did that, he had a brain aneurysm one day and was in perfect health, was losing weight, stopped eating pork. He did the Negro Land video, he did this, and then he was never seen again.
The candidates for membership, the dignity and solemnity of such an occasion is, y'all gotta let me do the talking. I don't have no amplification, I gotta shout over you. It is of interest to observe that the dress of...
Yes, Maikai, you're 100% right about that. He is a commission. he's a Shaka Amos believer. So no secret that yes, he was a homosexual, but a homosexual with good knowledge, nevertheless, which is also why he's dead.
So the Archons who composed the initiation team was most impressive. They were robed in Greek costumes, and each had a fillet around his head. Now, what is a fillet? Huh? Little headband or something? What's a fillet? Little leaf thing? All right. Okay. Or you blindfolded. Very good. Very good. And it says they were robed in what kind of costume? Greek. So don't let them tell you they ain't in no Greek thing. When you say, nigga, when you walked across the sands, you wore a robe. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, they were robed in Greek costume. Don't forget that. Robed in. We need to And that means every one of them in that closet got a Greek outfit. Check? All right.
You understand? So they'll tell you that this ain't Greek, it's not a Greek thing, but every one of them has to have a Greek costume in his closet. Because every year they gotta wear that Greek costume and go to a party. Black tie event where they sing a song that we're gonna get into in just a second. But first, I want him to tell you about this.
Enjoyable picnic.
We almost done.
784 archons and their families feasted on some of the delectable gauges and some barbecue. Till we get some pictures of them Boule eating them bones. Were among the Boule highlights, accolades were heaped upon the General Chairman Elmer Jackson Jr. and his state of Boule, Kansas City, archons and the archhouses. A Boule wife is called an archhouser.
That's how you say it, archhouser, right? So that's what the women are called. So there's 3,000 Boule members or 5,000 Boule members, and they each have a wife. You have to be married to be a Boule member. No different than if you're going to be a high-ranking past third-degree Mason, you have to be a married man so that your wife can become an Eastern Star if you're part of the Prince Halls, right? So that if you become a Prince Hall Mason and you move up in the ranks high enough to become a Boule member, your family can become Boule members, you being an archer and your wife being an archeressa or whatever, right? So that's how this works.
And when a Boule member dies, his Boule pin has to be given to the wife to be buried in his grave.
That pin that I told you that they all wear on television, right? So you can tell any of these people are in the Boule because they have to wear that pin whenever they're out in public to let the white supremacists, right, know who they are and who they're talking to, who's being spoken about, that sort of thing.
With him has to be buried in his coffin.
It's buried in his coffin so that the secret would never get out that this man was a member of the Boule. The only person that gets to see it being put on his body in the coffin is the person who embalms him and puts him in the suit. And his wife is the one that gave it to that person. That's how it works.
To get into Boule, a person has to. To get into the Boule, a person has to recommend you. Your name is taken to a Boule committee. The committee investigates your history. Having investigated your history, they have a vote recommending you for membership or not. Then you are approached and asked. In other words, thousands may be investigated and never initiated. You understand that? In fact, here's let me see some Boule song. Boule is steeped in symbolism. Here's a picture of Emmett Scott, who I showed you on that article, as he became the Grand Sire Archon at the meeting that was held in Los Angeles in 1941. And I said, as I mentioned earlier, isn't it strange that the Boule meets in Los Angeles and meets up at the Greek Theater in Griffin Park?
It meets at the theater, the Greek theater in Griffin Park, right? There's symbolism there, right? The griffin is the bird, right? That the Grecian Sphinx got its wings from, right? A griffin is also the name given to a white man who is new to the West from the East, which is why a lot of the slave masters had the last name Griffin. A lot of the black people who were slaves to Griffin are Griffin, right? Because these people, these white men who weren't from England, that came from like Turkey or something like that, who came from the East, that came straight from the East to the boat because they were part of the empires of Arabs and the Ishmaelites who helped to build the ships for us to be put onto the Atlantic slave trade. And through the Atlantic slave trade that was funded by Miss Steinberg or Mr. Steinberg's people, whoever Becky with the good hair is in the comment section. So what I'm trying to tell you is that we have to understand that that's literally what's been going on here. This griffin thing that they do with the Boule, the griffin is a symbol that basically it has 100% to do with the griffin. Well, I mean, not the griffin, with the Sphinx and the symbolization of the Sphinx. The Sphinx is supposed to represent, like I told you, the white man in his evolution from cave beast to the wicked that runs the earth, the soaring eagle, right, in his nest above the stars. That's what it's supposed to represent. With the conquered lion, which is the Israelites, which is why it has the body of the lion, right? It can carry the body wherever it wants with its wings because it's in control of the lion. Hence the gatekeepers who control the lion, because we're the lion and the gatekeepers keep us in control. Our gates languish, right? This is all biblical. Stay with me here.
And I went up there after the radio show the other day and looked at the symbolism up in Griffin Park and at the Greek Theater and at that Marilyn Palmer Hall location that sits down another one of those streets. Marilyn Palmer Hall, who was a big-time Masonic writer. And there's a ton of symbolism hidden in and around those areas. And soon we'll get it on videotape and share it with you. Some of the things we saw that we went around on that little escapade there up in the mountain. Selection of Emmett Scott as grandsire Archon was one of the singular events of the Sigma Pi Phi's history, which had significance for its war relationships during these years.
All right. That's all I wanted to play from here. So keep that all in mind, y'all. The Griffin Park thing, the Greek theater, that all has to do with them trying to be like the Grecians. That all has to do with them trying to be Crackas, right? White people. The gatekeepers for the Crackas.
Give me a 1 and a 2. 1 and a 2. From far.
So he's about to read to you the Boule greeting song, the Boule like fraternity song that each of the black coons sing when they're in their Greek robes and they're in their room for their meetings every single year. This is the song that they sing to each other, right? Just like every frat has a song, this is the song of the Boule. Listen carefully.
You're right. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you. From far and near, you've traveled here over rough and rocky road to reach the open portals of Sigma Pi Phi blessed abode. Our hearts, our homes, to you belong, and glad we are that you have come to share our fellowship song. To share our fellowship song.
Before he continues, yes, Alan, the griffin is the symbol of Babylon, right? Which is why this is spiritual Babylon, the great. You understand what I'm saying? Because the last Babylon didn't really have Israelites in control. This one does completely. So the line, what he's going to explain to you without knowing that he explained it to you, as we get deeper into the video, the body of the line that this griffin, well, he's not going to explain it. Quasi's going to explain it. The body of the line is, significant of us. That's what it is. It's them controlling us, having control over us. The 4 legs is supposed to represent the control of the 4-legged man, right? Ascending to the 2-legged man, which is literally what happened to Esau. We know that the white man, as the Caucasian, was walking around in the caves of the Caucasus Mountains on 4 legs, right? Eating the herbs of the mountain. And then we had, the other stuff that happened. So we have to keep that all in mind. They were able to rise up from their 4 legs, hop on 2 legs, and conquer the earth, right? That's what it talks about in Malachi chapter 1. Everything that the brother's saying is biblical, but he don't understand it because he doesn't understand the Bible.
Each Archon who has dared to taste of the cup that threatened death, dear Sigma Pi Phi will defend with his life and dying breath. Should any for a Greek assail, his cunning words shall not avail. Our ears are deaf to envy's tale, even deaf to envy's tale. You hear that? They're saying y'all gonna jam us for being a Greek, and we're telling you now we can't hear this shit, and we won't listen to this shit, because we'll defend what we are to the death. As long as you call a decision, I'll bring it again. I'm gonna read that again. Because there's symbolism in here that we have yet to fully decodify. It says, each Archon who has dared to taste of the cup that threatened death. In the ritual, they must use some cup with some liquid to symbolize something.
This cup with this liquid, he just decodified it and didn't realize it. It symbolized death. This was done in the 90s. We probably didn't know back then that people like, Jim Carrey and what's the old white lady that don't die? Betty White, right? We know Betty White has made jokes about drinking blood. We know that Jim Carrey's made jokes about drinking blood when they go to these secret society meetings, right? These Illuminati meetings and stuff. It's not a joke. Because he's telling you that the members of the Boule got to do the same thing. They got to pass around that cup with the blood in it and drink the cup. You understand? This is a secret society ritual that comes from the Skull and Bones. That comes from the Knights of the Round Table, right? This was a ritual that was taken from the Knight Templars and the Rosicrucians that the Knights of the Round Table adopted. The Knights of the Round Table are the 9 families that run the earth. Keep it in mind.
And say, you tell, that's poison in the cup. Dear Sigma Pi Phi will defend with his life and dying breath. Should any for a Greek assail, they put Greek in quotation marks. Should any for a Greek assail, his cunning words shall not avail. Our ears are deaf to envy's tale, even deaf to envy's tale.
Even deaf to envy's tale, right? Before we came into the truth, right? Before we learned not to envy our oppressors, before we learned not to envy the wicked, most of our people that aren't in the truth are wishing they had that Bentley that they pastor had, right? That's why most of them become pastors and pass around a collection plate just like the rest of them, right? Most of our people want to become the drug dealers to get the cars and the money that the drug dealers got because they envy that type of stuff, right? The members of the Boule are saying they have all these type of things. They got the yacht, the boat, the car, right? The private jet, the private helicopter. They got all this type of stuff, but they don't care about us envying them because it's not going to make them care about us. Their job is to do what the white man says, and that's it. They don't hear the envy. They don't see the envy. They don't care about it. You envy them, and they don't care about you. That's how it works, right?
Though elsewhere bickerings annoy, here at least are peace and joy. Where friendships built on faith.
He said everywhere else bickerings annoy, but here it's peace and joy, right? They're telling you black folk everywhere else, due to the curse of Deuteronomy 28:54, we fight. It's always going to be bickering between blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans because of that curse, right? They're not trying to lift the curse. They're trying to keep the curse on us. So they're saying they're going to be bickering. They're going to be envious. We're not going to see it, though, because we're going to be the ones on top. And this is where friendship between us is going to abound because we know what's really going on here and they don't. That's what he's reading to you, decodified in the song that they play every single meeting that they have. No, the song that they sing, rather.
Abound, strife and discord near are found.
He's saying strife and discord near are found, meaning that they don't happen to them, right? They don't get to see any strife and discord amongst their people because everybody's of one accord. They are rich, they all got their money, and they all following the crackers.
Our John's dear, the cup of fellowship and cheer. For as the apple of the thigh and of the eye is to us Sigma Pi Phi.
The apple of the eye is to us Sigma Pi Phi. The apple of who eye? The apple of the crackers' eye. They're the apple of the crackers' eye. Sigma Pi Phi. The Boule. You understand? Why are they the apple of the crackers' eye? Because they're the ones who's controlling the regular people for the crackers. The crackers don't have to crack our whip no more. That's why they think cracker means saltine cracker. But they used to know what that word meant. That's why I still say it. Right? They know that they're the people that crack the whip. They're the oppressors. But now they don't have to be seen as the oppressors because they have our people on the forefront oppressing us, right? Whenever a march happens that needs to stop, they put the black mayor on television. They put a Al Sharpton on television, whatever, right? So this is the type of things that we got to remember, that we have to be cognizant of.
For as the apple of the eye is to us Sigma Pi Phi. The apple of the eye. What does that mean?
He's the best thing to him, man. The apple of my eye. You know, that's the prettiest thing. Like the prettiest girl or something. That's the best thing that could ever happen. The other thing when they
the house, the boat, the yacht, the cars.
The death from the cup, that's what that symbol. You had the skull and cross, that's the poison symbol. It's on everything.
Yeah.
The cup is representative of the grave.
Of the grave?
No.
Grail.
Pay attention to this now. Because now he's about to tie everything into what I was telling you earlier about the Knights of the Round Table. We're going to fast forward through a lot of this stuff, but listen to specifically what he's about to talk about. He's going to tell you about that grail, right? And these Knights of the Round Table. All of that stuff. We know that this Knights of the Round Table concept comes from when we were the knights, literally, right? The ones ruling Europe and everything like that. We had our own council of noblemen. We had our own knights. We had our own knight templars. We had our own kings. We had our own queens, right? We had our own jokers and our own warriors. That's how this was. And our own servants, our own peasants, right? Who were usually the Edomites and the children of Japhet. You understand? So once we get overthrown, they kick us out of the areas or make us slaves in these areas. They basically took our concepts and demonized them. You understand what I'm saying? So now you get a Merlin, Knights of the Round Table that just do mischievous stuff, and now you got the landlords of the West, which are the Knights of the Round Table. It's landlords because they run everything in this land, and we basically pay rent to them. He'll explain later on, but keep all that in mind. This holy grail that Jay-Z and Kanye West was talking about wasn't the holy grail of the Bible. It wasn't the holy grail of knowledge of the scriptures. It was the holy grail of the white man because they're both Boule members.
It's interesting that he brought up the word that the cup is symbolic of the grail. Because what we found out is that when you're a skull and bones, when you go over, you're called a knight. And the knight is symbolic of the Knights of the Round Table. And that round table is the code word or the buzzword for an upper secret society that's in a book called Anglo-American Establishment, written by Carol Quigley. And in that book, he said...
Not Anglo-Saxon American Establishment, because contrary to popular belief, the Crackas know they're not the Saxons, right? They just put Anglo-American because now they're trying to say that they took the light. He's going to get into this very briefly in just a moment, right? Well, I'm going to fast forward to it. But this light, that is what I want you guys to keep in mind, because we're going to talk about what the light is biblically, and you're going to see that that light that they stole is specifically that light. He just doesn't understand.
In the opening, that secret society of which the Rhodes Scholars come from is known as several names. This society has been known at various times as Milner's Kindergarten, as the Round Table Group. Okay, just hold it right there. Look at that page a second if you can read it, because that page is very significant to the discussion of who it is might be the ones that the Boule has to cover for. In other words, they're covering for something. Now we know whatever they're covering for is beastly. Check. Okay, we'll come back to that. Okay, great. Now that's from Carol Quigley's book.
The book, Carol Quigley. Oh, damn, I gotta rewind it because I just forgot that fast. Damn. All right, hold on. Let me find the name right quick.
So the discussion of who it is might be the ones that the Boule, the cup, is symbolic of the grail. Because what we found out,
I'll fast forward it back in a minute. Let me get the name of the book.
When you're a skull and bones, when you go over, is known as several names. This society has been known at various. That book, he said, in the opening, that secret society of which the Rhodes Scholars come from is the code word or the buzzword for an upper secret society that's in a book called Anglo-American.
There it is, Anglo-American Establishment. That's what it's called.
Establishment, okay. Written by Carol Quigley.
Carol Quigley is the author. Anglo-American Establishments by Carol Quigley, right? It's an old book. I believe you could find a free PDF copy on the internet because I think I read it before.
And in that book, he said, in the opening, that secret society of which the Rhodes Scholars come from is known as
Rhodes Scholars. If you guys are familiar with that term, it's a term for studying scholars, right? Scholars that study on the road, basically. These Rhodes Scholars is also the people who get the most information to make them, Knight Templars, to make them Rosicrucians, to make them high-level Masons, all that type of stuff. I had a football coach when I was in 7th grade who was trying to make me a Rhodes Scholar. He was a white man named Eric Smith, and he is a Rhodes Scholar. Now that I haven't seen him since I was in 7th grade, he's probably a member of Skull and Bones because he went to Yale. So, yeah, that type of stuff. This is kind of why I know about all this stuff because the Most High just had me run into people along the way where I could just tie in different things that I've learned, and it led me to this. So.
Several names. This society has been known at various times as Milner's Kindergarten, as the Round Table Group. Okay, just hold it right there. Look at that page a second if you can read it, because that page is very significant. And it was Carol Quigley, who we showed here, has been called the Joe Malachi of political secret societies by his buddies for revealing the fact that there was such a secret society.
Now, for those who don't know, Carol Quigley is not just an author. This is a man who I believe helped Bill Clinton become president. And there was somebody else during the time of Bill Clinton who went to Yale, who, if it wasn't Bill Clinton himself, I don't think Bill Clinton went to Yale, so it couldn't have been him. But it's another person who was working for Bill Clinton. What? Yeah, Con. But Quigley is a man who basically helped that person get into Yale, and that person eventually became a member of Skull and Bones, and they named him for that. So Quigley made the book, allowing you to find out what the Skull and Bones is and what the Knights of the Round Table is. And the book is out there because most people aren't supposed to know about the book unless you're a part of these societies. So there you go. Stay-at-home scholar is the best way. It's free. How do you spell his name? That I can't tell you because the brother didn't. It's not in here. But I promise you, if you type in the name of that book, Anglo-American Establishment, if you type in Carol Quigley the best way you can, it's gonna pop up online. It's the only name like that, and the internet knows who that person is. So Anglo-American Establishment, Carol Quigley, however you want to spell it, you're gonna find the book.
I thought it was interesting that if I do read that, well, I've said it every lecture I ever had a lecture. Now we only better collaborated the ones who we were always after. So I know we got these suckers. In the book by Manly Palmer Hall on the flower, plant, fruits, and trees, there was a tree showing the Knights of the Round Table. What I thought was interesting when I looked at the tree carefully is that in your mind we always thought about the tree in 12.
Yeah, look, just that fast. Before he continues with the tree, because that's something I want y'all to get, let me show you. Judah, you good, bro? You good, Judah?
Hey, man, allergies, man. Allergies.
Look, y'all. Anglo-American Establishment. Carol Quigley. Right there. PDF. Free. Internet. January 1st, 1981. Right in your face. Sprayed like mace. You understand? There it is. You can read it on your own time. Back to the video.
Well, if you look carefully, it says the tree of the Knights of the Round Table, you find out that there are 1 knight, 2 knights, 3 knights, 4 knights, 5 knights, 6 knights, 7 knights, 8 knights, 9 knights. Those 9 represent the symbolic 9 that's used in the Grecian Sphinx, which we'll be talking about shortly. Now we're going to show from that eulogy.
All right, so he just showed you that there's 9 knights at the table, right? In the movie Merlin and stuff, in that book that we used to read, Jack and Annie. If any of you read that book before, right? It's a book about Merlin and the Knights of the Round Table and these 2 little white kids that's in a treehouse and stuff. We used to have to read that book every 1st grade class that I was in. Every day we had to read Jack and Annie. So I know the book at the back of my hand, right? Most I just be doing stuff, yo. So that book, it explains to you the Knights of the Round Table. Hence why I know about the Knights of the Round Table. So in the book, there's supposed to be 10 of them, but in real life, there's only 9. And these are families. These are 9 prestigious men who run who are the 9 families that run the earth. based on the amount of wealth that they had. And the one at the top, he's the head bonesman, the head Templar, the head Rosicrucian, and the head knight. You understand what I'm saying? So he's the one that rules the world. Probably one of the Rothschilds.
Of Charles Wesley's. In that same book.
I think I'm gonna fast forward. Let's see. Where are we? 115. Yeah, let's go to 128. Almost done, y'all. Couple more points because we ain't going to 2 hours. He's gonna say a couple more things, and then this video is gonna be done for the day. 50. Yeah, start there.
Quasi come up and join me, and if I could be so honored.
So Quasi is a brother who he might not be a faggot, but he's still a he's still like an Egyptologist, flaming Egyptologist, right? Like more than Shaka Amos, more than Sarnetta. He's like the complete Egyptologist. You know what I'm saying? He's the Dr. York of Egyptology. He can read the Metunetta and all that crap. So he's gonna break it down for you. And what he is about to say, I want you all to listen to. I'm not gonna let him say what he's gonna say to try to convert you to Egyptology, because he's gonna speak about Egyptology a lot. But what I want you guys to grasp is literally what he's saying about how the Grecians stole from Egypt. Hence is why the Most High calls this spiritual Egypt Sodom and Gomorrah. That's the only thing I want you guys to tie here. He's gonna tell you about the flag, where to get the colors from, and he's gonna break down the Sphinx that I've tried to break down a little bit. So let's get it.
And brother had just come in town today from out of town.
And since this is gonna be over, like I'm gonna literally stop after this is finished. I'm gonna be done. So y'all make sure that y'all like the video, Baba Kasha, and that y'all subscribe to the Patreon, right? And donate all that type of stuff. Every link that we need is in the description section of this video. If you go right now, you click out the chat, you can go subscribe to the Patreon and all that type of stuff. Nah, we're not ready. 5,000 people is nowhere near, bro. The type of you're funny. It's 5,000 members in the Boule, Ak. Just the Boule. That's the Black Gatekeepers. It's just as many members in the Boule that there is in IUIC, plus the members who have, plus they all got wives. You can't be in the Boule as a single man. It don't happen unless you're down limit, unless you're gay, unless you're a faggot. You could be in the Boule, but you can't be in the Boule as not a faggot without a wife. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to tell you is this. Just because they got 5,000 members don't mean nothing. We got way more than 5,000 Israelites in the world, and the Most High is not going to let us win the war without Yahushua. There's a reason for that. 2/3 of us ain't going to join this team. 2/3 of us going to have to die.
And Brother Jamal and brother talked on the telephone, and he looked at some of the symbolism that was encased in the Grecian Sphinx. Here is a larger.
I don't even know if Quasi is black. He might be like Ethiopian or something. Because, yeah. He looked like Gaddafi to me. I'm going to be real.
A version. I'm going to get an even larger version. But there's certain things there that you should take a look at just before I step back a second. Remember, there's Sigma Pi. Look at the tail in the form of an S. Sigma. The wings are in flight. There's the urn. The urn has significance. Now, in another picture, I'll show that in the urn is the 360 degrees of knowledge. There's a little wheel in there that goes, this little circular wheel. I'm going to show you that off of another picture. Again, we just go through another link in. There's that concept of that round table again. You got to pull back on symbols. When I looked in the dictionary of symbols, it said under the word pi, it says pi comes from the Chinese word that means round table.
Ha! Did y'all hear that? Pi comes from the Chinese word that means round table. We know that there's been a crafty council from all the nations that hate us that were put together. We know that the Chinese, the Japanese, and Esau have all been band together since the book of Judith, right? When they came with Nebuchadnezzar's, is that who it was? No, not Nebuchadnezzar. Shalmaneser. When they came with Shalmaneser's general, right? I forget what his name is, but when they came with him, they basically banded together and tried to take down Israel, and they lost, right? So they've had a crafty council since that point. We know that this word for the Greek fraternities, pi, right, the pi symbol, it means round table in Chinese. So this is basically them letting you know that they're the signals of the round table that come from the knights of the, round table, the Knight Templars, these type people, right? So these are the things that we have to understand and put together when it comes to this type of stuff. Can't lead them out. They're the same people. So each fraternity, no matter what it is, they're all a fraction of this movement, whether they like it, understand it, believe it or not. Because that's literally it's in all of their names, right? Pi, Sigma Pi Phi. Uh, there's pi, if I'm not mistaken, in a lot of the male and female groups. So that's just the way it is. And I'm sure psi means something that has something to do with the round table too, in a different language. I just never looked it up. But I know that they all got something to do with this Knights of the Round Table concept.
Sigma Pi Phi. Anyway, that's a whole nother discussion. Brother, I've asked brother to share with you. Let me find the best picture of it. Let's see, I said it here. Ask that he can share with you. And I'm gonna ask if he would do this one again just before we do that. If he would, okay, you hold that one. I have this one here. I'll show it. I'll put it up while you do it. I can put it up. Okay. If he can, like me, just for the record. First of all, I want to say hotel. And give a thank you.
No tip.
Thank you, brother Copley, for exposing the house Negro. Keep in mind when you go back as far as you can, all this, first of all, came up out of Africa. Only the symbols have been distorted, manipulated, to the point where we don't know what it means today.
Like I said, skip through the Egyptology crap he's going to say and just picture it as if he's talking about Israel, and everything's going to make sense. It ain't going to make sense if he's talking about Egyptology because he don't really understand what he's talking about. But take everything that he's about to say and put it through the frame and lens of an Israelite thought. Go ahead.
Now we go back to Prometheus. Now talked about Prometheus. Where did he have to go? When the Greeks say they had to cross the burning sands, you don't go north of Greece to cross the burning sands. There's no desert in Europe. He had to cross across the Mediterranean, and there's some burning sands there. What desert is that called? Sahara. That's where the knowledge was. He had to go to Mount Olympus. What was Mount Olympus? That was the land of Ethiopia. This is where the light of knowledge was. So in terms of passing the torch, this was symbolic of passing the light. So when the French, by the way, when they had the French Revolution there.
Did y'all hear that? Let me rewind that for you. I feel like y'all missed that. Let me rewind it for you.
And there's some burning sands there. What desert is that called? Sahara. That's where the knowledge was. He had to go to Mount Olympus. What was Mount Olympus? That was the land of Ethiopia. This is where the light of knowledge was.
So he's telling you that the white man went to Ethiopia, right? He's talking to you from the standpoint of a man that knows Egypt. Most people think, yeah, polite probably is Boule. I ain't. But anyway, so what the brother is saying is that the white man had to leave Greece and go to Egypt, right? He's talking to you about Ethiopia because he knows, yes, right. So I was going to say too, but he knows that that the real Egyptians, the ones that gave the land of Egypt this knowledge, it wasn't Obama's people. It wasn't the Kenyans or the South Africans. It was the Ethiopians. It was the Cushites, the same people who gave them the knowledge in Babylon, right? This is who it was. Nimrod's people. So, that's facts, big facts. I might read that up here. So look, pay with likes and donations. So look, what the brother is talking to you about is where they get the information about, this being spiritual Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah. He's telling you literally where all these Egyptologists get the information from when it comes to that fact. That's why that's the only part of the Bible that they really understand, because they know that the things that the white man took, he took from Egypt. But the misconception is that the Egyptians he took it from was the South Africans and the Kenyans. The Egyptians he took it from was the Ethiopians, the first Egyptians, right? So that's what the brother is speaking of. So when he talks about Ethiopia, know that he's really meaning Egypt, but he's going to say Ethiopia because he knows the history.
So in terms of passing the torch, this was symbolic of
passing the light.
Right? Passing the light. Give me Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 23, Baba Kasha. Because the brother, as an Egyptologist, he doesn't understand what the light is that they took and they passed. You understand what I'm saying? We as Israelites, we know what the light was that they took and they passed. This light is the Bible, the same book that they're using to control the whole earth right now. They're not using the book of the dead. They're not using the laws of Ma'at, right? They're using the Bible because that's what this is about. That's literally the light that they stole, right? Here's how you know that it's Ethiopia that stole the light first. Where's the oldest church in the world located? Ethiopia, right? Who are the people that claim to have the Ark of the Covenant, even though we know that they're lying? Who's working hand in hand with the white man, aka the Pope? Ethiopia. You understand what I'm saying? So they stole their information from Ethiopia, who stole this information from us. Hence Sodom, Egypt, Gomorrah, spiritual Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah, spiritual Babylon, real Babylon. It all goes together. It involves the same people. You understand me? Ain't no new thing under the sun. So they stole the light. Give me Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 23.
Khan, this is Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light.
The what?
And the law is light.
They stole the law. They stole our whole book, and they put their twist on it, right? They created a whole doctrine to go around the book that will cause a new world order. Make everybody cool with each other, make this a melting pot instead of us being separated as the Most High commanded to happen in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 32, right? When he separated the nations and made everybody according to the number of the children of Israel. Everything in the planet is based off of us, including how the white man got his power. This is what we have to understand, and that's the reason for this lesson. All of this stuff that the brother's talking about matters. But the most important part about it is this, because this is what their whole movement is about, the transfer of light. They stole the light from us, and it's going from the left to the right. So the left hand has the light. Who's the left hand? The white man. We're the chosen people. We're on the right. He's passing it from the left to the right. Why? Because he's about to give the light back to the Boule members, right, to hold for them. They get to flash the light in our face like TD Jakes, and then we pass around, they pass around the collection plate, and we give the light back to him. You know what I'm saying? He gets to drive off with the light in his car. And we don't know nothing about the light. We don't know what's our heritage. We don't know what's our culture. We don't know that that's what the Bible says, literally, about us. Because they stole the light, and they have it in our face. Proverbs 6 and 23. You had you said Salakia?
Yeah, I had another precept.
Go ahead.
This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 1 and 2.
Ooh, that was going to be the last thing we end with, but you can bring it out. We'll read it twice. I like it that much.
This is the book of the commandments of Yahweh, and the law that endureth forever. All that keep it shall come to life.
Calm.
As leave it shall die.
Calm.
O Jacob, and take hold of it.
Mm-hmm.
Walk in the presence of the light thereof.
So for what?
That thou mayest be illuminated.
What is the Knights of the Round Table called? What do they call themselves that the world knows them as the name by? What's the world that we know them by? The Illuminati, right? Illuminati means illuminated. The ones that know about the light. Who has the light? The people that illuminate are the ones with the light. Who has the light now? The white man, right? That's why the Bible says we have to grab a hold to it, come back to it, so that we may be illuminated. You understand what I'm saying? We have to get our light back because they stole it. We have to return it. That's literally what this is talking about. It's the Kabbalistic tree of life that they brought about in the tree for the Knight Templars, right? Because they actually go off of the Kabbalah. A lot of the rituals that they do come from the Kabbalah. I skipped that part of the video, but it's in here. If you go back and watch it, the brother explains that. That's why that's when he started talking about the black and Jewish relations, because he knows that the rituals that the black fraternities do come from the Kabbalah, which is where the Knight Templars and the other fraternities got it from, which passed it down to the Boule. So they're even worshiping Jewish man's thought in his way and his customs. So this is all stuff we got to keep in mind, man. This stuff shouldn't have been free.
So when the French, by the way, when they had the French Revolution there, Thomas Jefferson was also involved with that. Okay, the overthrow of the French government during that time.
So let's keep going.
So when America set up here, what statue did they?
Judah, give me Sirach chapter 17, verse 1.
Give to America. The Statue of Liberty. Which symbol do you see the Statue of Liberty holding? The torch. The torch of what? The light.
Now, what does the Statue of Liberty represent according to what the white man tells us? The white man tells us that this Statue of Liberty is supposed to represent the freedom of America, right? The liberty of the Americans, the nation of the free and the home of the brave, right? That's what it's supposed to represent. But in their books for the secret societies that run the world and actually know why we got the Statue of Liberty, they know that the liberty is literally here in America, the land of the North, where the Most High is going to have to take us from, because it's supposed to symbolize the light that they took from the Israelites. Why did Hitler know that the Israelites were the people who were being held captive to the Americans? We had the Statue of Liberty. We got it from the French. Who else took us into captivity? The French? Ain't that where the tribe of Levi is? The tribe closest to the Most High? Come on, guys. All of this stuff goes together. It all goes hand in hand. The reason he can't put it together is because he don't know the Bible. And he's dead now. But he couldn't put it together before because he was a chematologist. Commission. Egyptologist. Right? Let's continue.
Our ancestors called Haru, the light of knowledge. All coming from African people. That's why.
Now, he's going to tell you about the African people in the light of knowledge. He's going to mention something, though, about Ptah. When he gets there, I'm going to stop him because I'm going to just get out the information on where that comes from.
Somebody knows something about us that we don't know about ourselves.
Somebody knows something that they don't know about themselves, right? He don't know that he's an Israelite, and the light that they stole is the Bible. Everybody in that room doesn't know that and doesn't understand that, right? That's why they couldn't completely decodify what was being taught that day in that room. And they weren't able to decodify it, still haven't decodified it to this day, because they don't understand the Bible. These people have left the Bible. Nobody in this room believes in the Bible. It's either Greeks or Afrocentrists or chematologists in that room right now. Not one Israelite. Not even a Christian. So they're not going to decodify.
They know we're the originators of the knowledge. We are the originators here, brother.
We are the originators, but we don't come from Africa. The knowledge didn't come from Africa. The Africans stole the knowledge from us. If you know anything about the Hyksos and the Anu, there was a literal nation of foreign rulers, right? Which is what Hyksos means, that came and conquered Egypt, and that's where they got all the information from for their knowledge. And that happened to be us as a people. These are the same people that moved in big numbers and left in huge numbers in what they call the Exodus that was taken by a man named Moses. The same people who they had move in with the visor named Amenhotep, whose real name is Joseph, the man who wore a jacket of many colors, who had Ephraim and Manasseh as his son. It's all the same people, our people.
Which one you want? Okay. Now, we were looking for, as I showed you the Grecian Sphinx in the other book, we were looking for every Grecian Sphinx we could find, and we found this in Manly Palmer Hall's book under the heading of the initiation of the pyramid. We found this picture of the Grecian Sphinx. And I know you probably read the caption under there, and you see there are certain symbols underneath it. This looks similar to, and let me just see if I can find a larger copy, brother, just to set this up for you. I want to put their logo right next to it. And I got the version of theirs, the biggest one I had right in my hand during the lecture.
Let me stop there. Give me Sirach chapter 17, verse 1.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 17, verse 1. The Most High created man of the earth and turned him into it again. He gave them few days and a short time.
Right.
And power also over the things therein.
This is how you know that we got the knowledge and it wasn't given to the Egyptians. That's the reason I'm having a brother read this, because he's about to explain to you who this light was given to. In the book of Sirach, chapter 17, he's explaining to you how man basically got knowledge, right? But then he's going to explain to you about how the elect of man got the light. Let's go. Keep reading up.
He endued them with strength of themselves and made them according to his image, and put the fear of man upon all flesh, and gave him dominion over beasts and fowls. They received the use of the 5 operations of the Most High. And in the 6th place, he imparted them understanding. And in the 7th, speech, an interpreter of cogitations thereof, counsel, and a tongue, and eyes, ears, and a heart gave he them to understand. With all he filled them with the knowledge of understanding and showed them good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
He set his eyes upon their hearts that he might show them the greatness of his works.
Right.
He gave them to glory in his marvelous acts forever, that they might declare his works with understanding. And the elect shall praise his holy name.
The elect shall praise his holy name. Go ahead.
Let's see. Verse 11. Beside this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for a heritage.
So these people who we gave the law of life for a heritage, right? The law being the light, as we read in Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23, is the elect. Who is the elect of man according to the Bible? This is Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 5. I'll go ahead and read it. It says, I am Yahweh, and there is none else. There is no God besides me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me, that thou mayest know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am Yahweh, and there is none else. Salaki, I didn't read what I wanted. I wanted verse 4. For Jacob, my servant, and for Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name and surnamed thee, thou that though thou hast not known me. Right? I am the Lord, and there is none besides me. So this is what you got to understand. The elect that was given the law of life, which is the light that was stolen by Esau, right? And given to them, which is why the wicked control the earth, right? The earth was given to the hand of the wicked. What did the wicked need to have the earth given to them? The light, which is what they stole. The brother's showing that to you, right? Now he's going to break down the Sphinx, similar to the way I broke down the Sphinx, but he's going to give you more detail to explain, and then I'm going to break it down because he's not going to understand what he's giving you detail for. Judah, hold Job 30 and 30 from me, or 30 and 1. Start at 5, 30 and 5. And Ban Yahawasap, yeah, you're correct. Joseph and Imhotep. I think I called him Amenhotep. His name is Imhotep. Joseph and Imhotep, the guy who the mummy's about. You know what I'm saying? The mummy from the mummy and the mummy returns. That's supposed to be significant, or that's supposed to signify Joseph, right? Some of our forefathers, our brother, the father of Ephraim and Manasseh. That's what that's supposed to be. Because we know the history. There was a famine in the land. He was made vizier, right? The first pyramid was built. But in the history of Egypt, when you go look up all that stuff, they changed his name from Joseph to Imhotep, because that was the name he was given when he became vizier to the king, to the pharaoh, right? They wasn't gonna let him be vizier in Egypt with a dang Israelite name, or with the name of the people who were coming to conquer them, the Anu or the Hyksos. So he changed his name to from Joseph, or Yahusap, to Imhotep. You understand? So that's how this works. That's what it is. Good precept, bye.
Symbol here, this is called Keparah. Keparah, this is the symbol for light. This symbol here is called Ta. This symbol here is called Neb. This one here, I'm not quite familiar with the ending here. Basically, what it's saying here is self-creation of light of the landlord. Now, the feudal landlords in Europe came where? Here. So what they're saying here, they are the creation of light of the new landlords. Oh, shit. This is the land of the new landlords that most of us rent from the landlords. The New World Order boys. New World Order boys. So that's basically what they have here. So I have right here from Kemet, long before there were any Greek freaks around, our ancestors have, there's the symbol of the Neb right here. Neb, creation. The Keparah symbol means to create. Wings meaning immortality, meaning spirit. That's what African people dealt with, African spirituality. And Ra meaning the light of Haru, created in the image of Ra. Again, you see the blue, because these colors, these are our colors too, by the way. Red, white, and blue. They don't belong.
Now, they're not our colors, they're the colors of the Egyptians. Hence, this is the reason spiritual Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah. This brother thinks he's an Egyptian, even though he has not even 1% Egyptian blood, which is crazy. But nevertheless, I'm only playing this part so you can hear where the colors of the flag come from, because there's a misconception that the colors of the flag mean, you know, blue for whatever, red for the blood of the soil, and white for the white people. It ain't like that. They got those colors from Egypt, and he's going to tell you that. This is why this is literally spiritual Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah. Everything that the white man took, he took from there. And you have to understand what was taken from there and why it was taken from there to understand why the white man did it.
Belong to the Greeks. They don't belong to America. You see the blue on top of the scarab. The scarab was symbolic of the great mind.
This information right here specifically is the reason why people like Sinetta and Polite got dragged in Shaka Amos and Shaka Famos and Nebuchadnezzar, Sarasut and Seti, all these different Negroes that know nothing about their true history and will admit to you, you know, Jabari, that will admit to you that they have not even 0.5% of Egyptian blood in them. But they got caught up into this because they've been given the misconception that all of the knowledge of the earth came from Egypt. They've been given the misconception that the Jews are white people, so they can't put 2 and 2 together. This was also work of the Boule, so that even the people that exposed the Boule, hence the folks in the video, can't really understand what they're exposing. But we do, because the Most High showeth all things to his servants, the prophets.
Now, in the third degree, Brother Copley said that it was the third degree that was the blue degree. Is that right? That was the blue degree of the knowledge. Is that right? So the scare represented the cranial cavity of the brain, of the knowledge of the mind, of Ptah, the creator of the universe, the first concept of monotheism, or concept of one God.
So he's telling you that the Egyptians didn't always, if you go and look up Egyptian theology, they don't have a concept of one God. They have multiple gods, but they have one God that they call the creator of the universe. They got this one God from the concept of the Anu, or the Shazu, or the Hyksos, right? Our people who were there. That's who we are. That's who we were. So people have to understand these things. And because we were the ones that had one God, that served one God, and we went and ruled and took over Egypt, they came up with the name Ptah. So, yeah, and Esau stole Cleopatra's needle. Big facts. See? All right, moving on.
So it is here.
You have to say that over one time.
The first concept of one God.
One second. Gotcha.
So we go through the whole scare.
Just a little, yeah. Thank you, bro.
Again, you see the name, just like you see here. Name means what? Lord. Okay. So this is Lord of creation, meaning Keparah. Wings represent spirituality. Ra, created in the image of Ra. Why do our ancestors say we were created in the image of Ra? Because we got melanin. Ra gives us color. So we're created in the image of Ra.
Ra is the sun. None of us look like the sun. The sun shines. So that shows you that Egyptians didn't really understand what they meant when they said that we're made in the creation of Ra. Because what it was we're made in the image of Yah, which is Yahweh, which is the God of the Israelites, which was the God of the Shazu, which was the God of the Anu, right? It had the same name. Sakari's done that video before. It's always been the same name for our God. And they changed his name to Ptah, and they claim that, you know, they're all made in the image of Ptah. This is why everybody's kin to you ain't kin to you. Because of this is why Exodus 11:7 is written, where there's a difference between Israel and Egypt.
The light of Haru. The top of the scarab looks just like the cranial cavity of the brain. This is where the knowledge is, right?
That's right.
This is where if we want to, our brain computer, we have to put out the knowledge that we take in, right? So it is here. The scarab was symbolic of the great mind that our ancestors called Ptah. Ptah was a one God concept, monotheism, and pre-dynastic Egypt. We're talking about pre-dynastic, we're talking about over 30,000 years.
He has to say pre-dynastic Egypt, which proves he don't know what he's talking about, because Egypt was never monotheistic. They've always had more than one God. When it was the Ethiopians running things, when it was the Cometians running things. Only time they didn't have more than one God is when the kingdom split, and it was because we were the ones running it. That's literally what it is. That's where they get Horus and Set and all these other people from, because that was who their gods was. They were never monotheistic. He just lied. Let's go.
So it is here, the great mind of the universe, showing that the colors, again, are African belongs to our African ancestors, meaning the blue.
The African ancestors that he's not related to in no way, shape, or form.
When Brother Copeland was talking about the Blue Lodge, was the third degree, was the degree of what?
You're right. I misspoke. I forgot about Akhenaten. You're right. Akhenaten. I forgot about him. I forgot about Akhenaten. Salaki.
No, is that right? So where do you see the blue at on here?
But if I'm not mistaken, he's the only one. And I don't think he created Joel. Did Akhenaten create the concept of Ptah? Okay, so it was Ra. Okay, so that still proves my point. That Ptah came from the concept of the Israelites, because their one God was Ra. Okay, come.
On top of the scarab, the cranial cavity of the brain. Again, the red, our ancestors always did libation. Blood represents.
I'm not going to even go into that, because that had nothing to do with us. 44. Okay. Two more pieces and we're done. If I want to go that far, I might want to start here. So like, yeah, I'm trying to find it right. Let's try this.
Man, also go and look at the encyclopedia under the pineal gland, and it talks about the pineal gland. It develops your sexual behavior. It excretes the melanin.
Never mind. He's going to try to say that we don't have a fully developed pineal gland. That's why we are freaks and faggots and stuff in America. But the reason we're freaks and faggots in America is because of the hyposexualization through slavery that's been passed down from generation to generation through our psyche. It has nothing to do with the pineal gland, like the Egyptians did. It's trauma.
The Greeks call it Sphinx face in the east. If these folks did not live in the Sun Belt, that means they have an underdevelopment of the pineal gland. That's right. So this explains the beastly nature that you see out here today with all these freaks running around. Kabbalah. The mysteries of the Kabbalah is where Malik.
So brother asked about where the Talmud and the Kabbalah comes into this. Let me rewind a little bit so that you can hear all of it.
Isn't this interesting that where he got this analogy from was from Levi's Les Mysteries de la Kabbalah. The mystery.
Levi's Mysteries of the Kabbalah, right? This is the fake Jews' Mysteries of the Kabbalah.
Mysteries of the Kabbalah is where Malik Palmer Hall wrote his analogy of the stolen legacy, saying that the Grecian Sphinx, see, when they call it
stolen legacy, right? See, they're putting together the Grecian Sphinx and making it seem like the legacy that they stole was from Egypt because they use a Sphinx. They have a pyramid on the dollar bill and all that type of stuff. But all of that is code. Right? They're making it seem as if they stole the language or the knowledge from Egypt, but the truth is they stole the knowledge from the people who Egypt had in captivity. The ones who gave Egypt the knowledge, right? That's the misconception. People who are into Egyptian thought think that the Egyptians built the pyramid. No, they don't even think that. They think that some angels came down called the Anunnaki that gave the Egyptians the knowledge to have the pyramids built. They either think that, or they think that the Anunnaki just came down and built the pyramids, right? People who read history, though, know that the Israelites built the pyramids, right? They know that the first one was built during the time of Imhotep, who was Joseph, who was an Israelite, and he was, according to their records in Egypt, he had a dream that allowed him to get the blueprint for this first pyramid, which still stands today. So, that's what they say in Egyptian theology and stuff like that, right? So, like, the stolen legacy, so to speak, that he's also going to talk about in a minute. He's going to explain to you how they steal the legacy by killing the father, right, and marrying the mother. And he's telling you that this is from the customs of Levi's Kabbalah, right? What did the Jewish people do when they went to Israel and still found Israelite women there, right? They got rid of the father and they slept with the mother, married the mother, and then started to call themselves Jewish, in that the line runs through the mother's seed, right? Is that not what happened? So he's going to explain to you that that concept doesn't come from them stealing it from the Egyptians. Well, he's going to try to say it comes from them stealing it from the Egyptians. But us as Israelites, we know that they never went and stole the Egyptians' custom by sleeping with the Egyptian women. They stole Israelite customs by sleeping with Israelite women, right? And then called themselves Jewish. So keep all that in mind, because he's going to say it and not even understand what he said.
Grecian Sphinx.
they jump into a code language of just white people. The just white people version says that the Egyptian Sphinx is closely related to the Greek legend of Oedipus. The Greek legend of Oedipus, which has something to do about the killing of the father of the people to marry the mother of the people.
Right? So the stolen legacy part had nothing to do with Egyptians, because they never stole any Egyptian woman and slept with them and took the identity of the Egyptians. They just went to Hollywood and said, we're Horus, we're Cleopatra, we're Osiris, we're everybody. They didn't put any documentation. They don't have anybody out there today that's white saying, I'm an Egyptian through my mother's line. No, they have white Egyptians that's been there that conquered the place in 641 AD. The Turks, right? So this is what we have to understand and be cognizant of. This stolen heritage, this stolen custom, even though they're hiding it through the frame of Egypt, it's actually stolen from the Israelites. The light that they stole wasn't any light from Egypt. It was the light from the Israelites.
So you want to say that, brother? That hit something? Okay. It says, and then it goes on to say Oedipus was the first one to solve the riddle of the Sphinx. It says,
Oedipus was the first one to solve the riddle of the Sphinx, right? The Sphinx is supposed to signify a new world order, as I told you all, right? This new world order and this evolution of the white man, the renaissance of the white man, is literally what the symbol of the Grecian Sphinx is. A white man starts on all fours in the caves. He leaves the caves in the book of Malachi and says, we're impoverished, we're going to build, right? And the Most High says, well, I'm going to let you build, but eventually I'm going to throw down. You feel? So they're building, and as they build, they meet us, the nobles in Europe, right? We teach them how to walk on two legs. We teach them how to take a bath. We teach them how to use the toilet, right? We teach them how to cook food, how to speak English, and not when they talk to each other. You feel what I'm saying? So this is the type of stuff that we did, that we taught them. And as they started to move and progress, the Renaissance happened. They band together, they kick us out, this new world order starts. Now it's the Renaissance of the white man. Now they're the griffin. You know what I'm saying? It's not the Sphinx no more. Now they're the griffin. They get to fly. So now they've taken the body of the lion, right? They've taken the lands of the lion, the identity of the lion. They've stolen his identity, right? They killed the father, married the mother, and now they've stolen the legacy. Hence the reason why they have the lion's body. You follow me? They're the eagle that conquers. So he still got his wings. He still got his 4 legs to prove that he's, more than a man because he's evolved. You understand what I'm saying? And he's got his human head to show his intellect, which was the blue part of the symbol that the brother was talking about. That's the tie-in right there. That's the breakdown of the Grecian Sphinx. So we're going to fast forward. Last part, minute and 47 seconds. Hour and 47. Wow. All right. Last part.
The 2 and the 3 produce the sum of 9. Remember those 4 plus 4 and 1? 4 Greek female, 4 Greek male, 1. The last of those fraternities were created in the 20s, the sororities.
Becky with the blonde hair, what's not true? What's not true? What I say that was offensive? While he writes that, we're going to continue.
Which is the natural number of man and also to the lower worlds. The 4 represents the ignorant man, the 2 the intellectual man, the 3 the spiritual man. Infant humanity walks on 4 legs, evolving humanity on 2 legs.
You see that? Infant humanity walks on 4 legs, but evolving humanity, aka the evolved white man, walks on 4 legs. Keep going.
And to the power of his own mind, the redeemed and illuminated Magnus.
The redeemed and illuminated Magnus, right? The Magnus that's stolen the light of the Israelites. Now doesn't have to walk on his 4 legs, but gets to choose to fly when he wants to, right? Just like the Knight Templars don't have to drive their car. They don't got to walk. They can hop on their private jet when they feel like it, right?
Has the staff of wisdom. The Sphinx is there.
He has the staff of wisdom. Where does the staff come from, right? The staff of wisdom comes from the Israelites. We're the shepherds of the earth, right? The people who run the sheep. You feel me? That's us.
For the mystery of picture, the embodiment of the secret doctrine, and all who cannot solve a riddle, and all who cannot solve a riddle to pass the Sphinx is to attain personal immortality.
All that can't solve her riddle to pass the Sphinx is to obtain immortality, right? And like endless power. All of these people who find out this river, all the people that find out this riddle get to move on and progress in life. And it's usually just the white man. Steve Coakley didn't get to explore this, right? Kwesi still hasn't unlocked the secrets yet, right? Dr. Ben couldn't do it. Marcus Garvey couldn't do it. Malcolm X couldn't do it. Only people that could do it is people that's following the law, statutes, and commandments, bro. That's it. We're the only ones that got the keys to this secret right here. We got the keys. You understand me?
Now that's in his description of the Greek version of the Sphinx, which brother said there's no such thing. And
Good question.
They lead us to find somewhere in their ritual. We believe that they'll give some honor and discussion to the use of this Grecian Sphinx.
She said we're making stuff up. What we make up? I'm confused. What we make up? We did teach you how to walk. You need to look up this stuff. When you guys were in the caves, you literally, there's documents that your own people have written. This is why the caveman, Tarzan wasn't one of our people. He's supposed to signify how you guys were when you in your prime state. Tarzan's supposed to be a cracker if you want to get down to the nitty gritty of it, right? They made him a black man because they wanted us to, they're trying to remind us that we're monkeys. But the fact of the matter is you guys were the ones walking on all fours. Tarzan was a cracker. That's why he married a white woman, right? So what I'm trying to explain to you is you guys were most definitely walking on all fours. We taught you how to take a shower. In fact, there's a man who's a Moor. His name is Taj Tariq Bey. The brother with no beard that got the Don King afro, but it's not gray. You feel me? He go watch his video, Becky with the blonde hair, and he'll explain everything to you. Taj Tariq Bey.
Match out something or some parable that they're using internally. Now, are there any questions about the Boule?
That's it, y'all. That's all, folks. Are there any questions about the Boule? Y'all got any questions? Yeah, see, you used to use planks to hold yourself upright because you had to train your back. That's where that's real stuff. That's where your white ballet dancers got the concept of breaking their toes so that they could stand on top of their toes like that. Y'all found out that you could break certain parts of your body and train them to do things that they're not supposed to do because you had to put planks on your back to stop you from walking like this, to make you stand up straight. That's where you got the concept of posture from your little Disney Channel videos and stuff about kings and queens and stuff. You got your concept of posture because that's what we were saying to teach you guys how to walk and stand up straight. The history's there. You are the most uncivilized people on the planet Earth. The Earth isn't even for you. You get killed by the sun if you stand out there too long. Come on, Becky. Goodness gracious.
Can I ask a question? I don't want.
Her name's we got to call her Karen.
Oh yeah,
Karen Steinberg.
Karen. Beck. Hey, can I ask a question? Since we didn't civilize you and the earth is for you, because the earth is at variance with you. You know what I'm saying? It's just funny how our brothers and sisters their hair grows. When it grows upward towards the sun. It sprouts out of their head. It defies gravity like a living plant. Your hair comes out of your head. It falls straight to the ground. As soon as you grow a piece of hair when you were born, it goes straight to the ground because your hair is dead.
The water DMC for the generous donation.
That's right.
Yeah.
Water.
What Dote said, you're a peon. We used to pee on you people. You understand? That's what it is. That's the fact of it. So, man, if y'all ain't got no questions, this was the first half of the Boule video. I'm not going to hold y'all all day because I know y'all used to being on here for 3-4 hours and stuff. Y'all getting out of class early tonight. So if y'all ain't got no questions, man, that's it. You know what I'm saying? She said that's why
wait.
buy fake hair. No, we buy fake hair. Hold on, Judah. I gotta say this. We buy our women buy fake hair because it's a curse in the Bible, Becky Steinberg, right? That says that they're not going to be able to grow their hair the way they want to because it's a curse for them not following the law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible. So because they don't have the hair that's supposed to grow out their head the way it's supposed to grow, they got to use fake hair. Don't worry. When we get into the kingdom, we gonna make sure all y'all got bald heads. You won't be able to even wear any fake hair. All the white women slaves at my plantation gonna look like Grecian thalaronis. Because you know that's how they used to make them look, right? Anytime there was a Grecian horse, she had to shave her head. Leah's gonna walk around my plantation with a shaved head too. And I'm gonna change her name to Dung Face, like I told you. So who were these giants that walked the earth? I thought y'all was gonna ask me questions about the thing I just taught about, yo. The giants that walked the earth were the Israelites. If you go into the dictionary, there's 6 definitions for the word giant. And the definition for the word giant that's used in the book Genesis chapter 6 is the definition that means mighty man, not large person. It's mighty man. Who are the mighty mans of the earth? The Atazawan Mayashis or the Tazawan Mayashyam. It's the Israelites, the mighty men. That's literally what it is. There's 6 definitions to a giant. And when you look up the etymology of the definition as used in Genesis 6, it's not giant as in Jack and the Beanstalk giant. It's giant as in mighty man, important man, man of reverence, giant like King David or King Yahushua or King Solomon or Prophet Nehemiah or Prophet Ezra. Kings like that, mighty men. Goliath wasn't a giant. He was just a big old mighty man. He was a warrior in the earth. Literally, if you look this up, it's the same word. He wasn't a 12-foot man from Ethiopia or whatever. He was a mighty man, a great warrior. That's literally what he was. That's why a little boy David was able to whoop his behind, because we the mightiest men on the planet, even as little boys.
White
Mighty. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, look at the Olsen twins. Right, you look 30. You turn 30 and look 54.
I wasn't even gonna go that far with it, but you right.
Hey, yo, check this out. Hey, Becky, playing Israelites.
It's the wrong video for that. The person to speak on space, Fabo, is Yahweh All. You want somebody to speak on space, you need the Ottawa to come on here, because I don't know much about space. He work at the weather station. He know everything about space that there is to know about space. Joel a damn near astronaut. Come for real.
Hey, hold on, Ottawa, hold on. So, Rachel Karen Beckberg said y'all are cute playing Israelites. So who are the real Israelites then, Beckberg? What part of the Torah applies to you, Beckberg? Because in Deuteronomy it talks about what's going to happen to the real.
Do you even know what Israelite means, Becky? There's no white person in the world that goes back to a man named Jacob.
Hold on, wait.
Even the history says that your Jewish man goes to Amalek or Ashkenaz, neither one of which are even Shemites. Well, Amalek is, but neither of which are the chosen seed, right? Ashkenaz is a Japhetite, and Amalek is Esau. You aren't. No way possible. No way, shape, or form. Even your here. I'm gonna show you something. Go ahead, Judah. I'm gonna show her a video from one of her own ancestors that's telling her that it's not that she's not the people, and then we gonna get a body.
Salaki. She said we are. Y'all are the Israelites? Okay.
I told you her name is Steinberg. She's a Jew. Jewish. Right. Nah, she's a Jew because we ain't Jews. I told you that before. I don't like that term. Jew is a name that the white folks gave. We the Israelites, according to the Bible.
Well, let's read this scripture real quick. This is Isaiah 29 and 22. And let's see if it's possible that you could be Israelite. It says, therefore, thus saith the Most High, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob. These are the Israelites. It says, Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face wax pale. Now I want you to look at your little picture that you got up there. That's pretty pale to me. You like a vampire. That's all I gotta say. Go ahead, Ottawa.
Hold on, I wanna read you this.
So this was written on his time.
Hold on.
African. See, this is why we say the Caucasity. How in the hell do you even think that you have to even tell us about our daggone history? How are you gonna tell us about our history? Becky.
It's cool. Let me tell about hers. Let's listen to Hitler, Becky.
This is a seminal document because nothing exists showing that Hitler ordered the extermination. There's no Hitler letter, which is a smoking gun. And for future generations, this letter is of crucial importance because it shows he was obsessed with the Jews as early as 1919 when he wrote this. Et Treffung, the complete removal or the deliberate removal of the Jews, he says.
This ain't the one I'm looking for. He's not gonna read it. Okay. Let's go. Hold on, Becky with the blonde hair.
Hey.
I'm gonna find it for you.
She said, you know, you think you cute. Look, pale face body, built brick body, no lips having that. Look, no shape. No, we don't want you over here. Do you see our women? Do you see yourself? Man, you better get up out of here. Come on now. There's a reason why y'all buy butts. Because y'all don't have one. Y'all sit on y'all back. You don't think you cute? Come on now. I will roast you in here like, but I got some precepts though.
Hold up.
And right now, I think you're lying. I'm not gonna say you're lying. I'm gonna say you're lying. I'm not gonna say I think. I'm gonna say you're lying because we know what's going on. I want to ask you this question, Harry.
Yeah, I know that
Talk
voice.
about the chosen people of God. Who do you say is the chosen people of God? Keep it real. Let's not play games here, because we've been hearing the Jews for decades saying how they are the chosen people of God. We respect a man's honesty. You're not going to hurt our feelings. We used to this. You know, I want you to keep it real for us, Harry. Who you consider to be the chosen people of God?
But the chosen people is not a race, is not a color, is not someone that comes from a specific region. It is someone who identifies with a certain ideology that comes from the teachings of Moses on the mountain. And I'd like to now bring up another interesting place that you find the descendants of the Israelites, but may not necessarily be from the 10 tribes, but will also play a role. And it shouldn't be overlooked. It's a very serious scenario. Is in Africa. Africa has perhaps hundreds of millions of people with this identity right now of being from the people of Israel. Does that mean they were from the 10 tribes? Likely not. We were taught by the historians and within our own traditions that when the Romans conquered Judea, a few hundred years after the tribes of Israel went into exile, perhaps millions of Judeans were sold into slavery, into Africa, into Rome, deep into Africa. And if you look now, you're seeing people who are most likely the descendants of those slaves who kept true.
Hold on now, Becky. He's about to say something that doesn't agree with what you just said. You said that our people are making lessons pretending to be y'all. Sounds like Harry's about to tell you that they've been pretending to be us.
To bring up a few specific examples, they're going to be game changers. Another area in Africa, you have...
By the way, he's in Jerusalem in front of all your Crackas Jewish people. He's in front of all the ishes, letting them know that they're ishes.
Something big happening is in Nigeria. You have the Igbo people, or Igbo, pronounced either way. And
I know that you as a cracker probably don't know that 90% of the so-called Negroes that were taken in the transatlantic slave trade are from the Igbo tribe. Huh, okay.
Where it gets interesting is, in America, there was a slave trade.
Oh, he's about to tell you that.
And a lot of the slaves, a very high percentage of them, came from Western Nigerian ports. And in America today, you see a very large movement of African Americans.
You know, there's a man named T.D. Jakes, who is a pastor that's world renowned, who has the last name Jakes to signify him being a member of the, house of Jacob, who is the father of the 12 tribes of Israel, and he's a well-known Igbo.
to say that they're the real chosen people, that they're the children of Israel, they're the Judeans. So what are they just trying to create
So it's a sellout when you tell the truth, huh? He's a sellout or a truth out? The truth out, huh? He's selling the truth because it's out, huh? Okay.
Identity for themselves because they were slaves, or is there really something here? And the answer is most likely there is something there. And most likely maybe that they were the original Israelites, and maybe that the Jewish people today who are white, Caucasian people came in a little bit later on.
And now he's saying maybe, but he's about to explain to you how that maybe is factly, right? Big facts.
That some of the greatest sages of the transmission of the Torah were converts from Rome.
Some of the greatest sages of your Torah and your Talmud and your Kabbalah were converts from Rome, right? Herod's people. Oh, snap. Somebody fell out their seat. Oh.
You have a man named Onkelos who wrote a commentary on the Torah, unprecedented, that we still learn today. He was a convert.
Yeah, it's not in the Torah, it's in the Kabbalah that they called the Torah because that's their Torah, but they still use it today. We don't use it at all, and he's a convert.
Some of the largest pillars on the transmission today were Roman converts.
Transmission of the Kabbalah and the Talmud, converts.
So here we are, we're Caucasian Jewish people.
Oh, look, he got a yarmulke on his head as a convert.
People. And now you have people in Africa saying that they're the real people of Israel. It can't be ruled out at all.
Can't be ruled out at all. You know why? Because he's telling you point blank period without actually having to say it in front of his people, because you don't want too many of them falling out their chairs that the people from Africa are the real Israelites and that these white people from Rome are converts.
They were sold into slavery.
Unlike your people, because that's one of the curses that has to apply to the Israelites for you to be an Israelite according to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, and it never happened to no Crackas. Well, the closest thing y'all had to slavery was the indentured servitude of the Irish people who got to leave after 7 years and become slave owners. Our elder, Adawan, Yahweh, has an Irish last name. Why? Because Dirty Harry's people was also slave owners.
We know now that they're fulfilling prophecies by saying, we're coming back.
This is not for you. This is our book. This is our.
And he said that they're fulfilling prophecies to let you Crackers know that what? We're coming back. And with that, we are the Sons of Thunder Israelites. Becky is a fake Jew from wherever she's from. And she's not a part of this covenant, nor will she ever be. That's the way it is because Stone Cold says so.
Oh, you see she out of there.
Yeah, Austin 3:16 from the Talmud. That's what it says. That the Negroes are the real Jews and that the Jewish people aren't, because Stone Cold said so. Yeah, so, Shalom.
Yeah.
So with that, Akim and Akwatim, we are the Sons of Thunder Israelites. It is our hope, prayer, and desire to the Most High that the real Israelites might be saved.
That's right.
Shalom. Until next time.